Sure, everybody is being recorded, and we will kick this thing off.
Cool, let me find where you are. Videos. There you go.
I don't have to send you a link, right? I'm good.
I think you might have to send me a link.
Ah.
God dang it. Wait.
Aren't you a subscriber of mine? It should be right on my page.
Yeah, I am. It just doesn't show up right away. I'm subscribed to you, but
Here, I'll go to my YouTube page just a second.
nothing's showing up here. Yeah, you're gonna have to send me a link.
No problem. Paste. Alright, there you go. It's in the chat.
Sweet. Alright, let me connect my headset. My headphones real quick. Just to do this audio test, that way you guys can't hear all the echoes. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Alright, let's see, testing myself. Sing 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm good. Let's see, Dylan, you wanna go?
This is a test. Is it working? I hope it's working.
Okay, you are good. Lucas, you wanna go?
Testing again.
Okay, you are good. Corey?
Hi, this is Corey, and this is Test.
You are a little bit quiet there, Corey.
So, what do I do?
You can go to your microphone settings and increase the sensitivity. That might help.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
Yeah, just a tad. Cam?
This is Cam testing 1, 2. John Michael Stevens reporting in.
John Wayne Stevens. I mean John Michael Stevens.
John.
Alright. Cam, you're also just a little bit quiet.
I'll move the microphone a little bit closer. Any better?
Let's see.
Talking a little more clearly.
Yep, that's much better. Alright, Corey, you want to give it one more try?
Yeah, I was just about to ask if you want to come back.
Okay, yeah, you're good. And everybody's microphones are good.
My setup
stop hearing
is
that echo.
ridiculous, you guys. Just so you know, I have like 2 monitors going, 3 books open, and a notepad.
Jesus.
It's insanity.
You need to... Alright, send a Snapchat, dude. Come on.
Later.
You can't just say that.
Oh, I can. I just did.
Oh, I'm roasted.
God damn it. You're like, you forget that I have all the power now.
All the power. I'm gonna wait for Jake to open his snack. Hi, Jake. You're on the air.
Say hello to YouTube.
Corey said hi.
That was
Just
not
kidding.
Corey.
Was
There's a
it?
camera that said hi. How dare
Was
you
it?
give away
Was
my
it?
hi?
After you, Corey.
Okay, yeah, so Corey didn't say hi. He doesn't give a shit, apparently. Alright. So, we had the recap. Everybody good to go? Everybody did everything they gotta do before we get going?
Yes, let me, I was about to do this and not have my dice with me. There. 1 second.
Gotta get your dice.
Okay, I got them.
Right. So here we go. Episode 4, Convoy. It is about 7:45 in the morning on Monday, March 21st, 1921. You're all arriving or have arrived at Hotel Mori. There's a line of trucks lined up on the beside the curb. They're nearly fully loaded with boxes, crates, barrels, canvas, like camping equipment, food, and more. Mendoza is standing on the sidewalk. He's holding a clipboard and he's checking off the contents on his equipment manifest. Larkin is sitting in the passenger seat of the lead vehicle, kind of reclining a little bit, with his foot out the open door, and he's kind of fanning himself with a newspaper as he's reading in the growing morning heat. There's a driver that Larkin hired from this rental company named Javier, who's helping pack up the last of everyone's gear. Roger, you arrived probably about 10 minutes ago and came up to Jackson with your duffel bag full of your clothes and the other equipment for everyone else. Jackson is sitting in the back of the second vehicle, his legs over the side, smoking his pipe. Go for it.
Okay. Oh, I throw all my stuff in the vehicle. Mr. Jackson, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Although, if you could call me Jesse until they're not listening, I'd appreciate it.
Oh.
He kind of like looks over his pipe over at Mendoza, and Mendoza's kind of eyeing the two of you, and he draws a line across the paper and then continues walking on to the next vehicle.
So Jesse, do you know where we're headed first?
Well, if what I learned from the maps is correct, I'd probably take the coast down to Kamana before we head up into the highlands, but, you know, I'm not entirely sure. I actually meant to ask the other driver. I don't know if Larkin actually shelled out for 3 professionals. We might end up having to drive ourselves. He kind of, like, peers over.
Aggravating. But alright, I'll go ask that other driver if you want me to. I mean, I gotta walk around and give people their stuff anyway.
If you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna keep an eye on this Mendoza.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course, he's a shady character. We can keep both eyes on him.
Both.
If you could.
Of course. He like
Those
kind
are your
of
beady little eyes.
winks at you. As you're doing that, Leslie he's leaning against the hotel. He has absolutely nothing with him other than like a coat that he brought, and he's eating a banana. And he's just kind of watching.
Way too early for these.
Was he talking to me?
Well, you're the only one here.
Oh, I didn't leave the vehicle yet.
He's not that
okay,
far away. He's
Leslie-
probably like 7 feet away.
It's got windows. Let's see through the windows.
Did you sleep well, Leslie?
Yes, yes I did.
Where's all your gear, Leslie?
It's, well, it's just the crate. It's already in the truck.
You mean the crate that's full of booze?
It's got some other things in there. I put some things. I
Leslie,
don't
this is okay, good, very good. This is the start of our adventure, Leslie.
know.
So, how do adventurers start their adventures?
With a banana.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. So good. I'm glad to see you started off properly. But you also need supplies. You better have more than just booze in the crate.
Well,
Do you have a
did you bring
backpack or
supplies?
anything?
Got a coat. Did you bring supplies?
Yes, of course I did.
I'll just borrow yours.
No. You're not gonna borrow mine. There might be enough for everybody. I
While
get to
these
share 'em with-
while
share 'em with
these
you,
two
I
are
share 'em with everybody.
bickering, John Michael Stevens, you are currently loading the rest of your gear into the last truck. And as you're like pushing your big bag up on kind of the last of it, someone taps on your shoulder. When you turn around, it's this kind of medium height woman. She's pretty pale. She's got red hair and it's kind of tied up in a bun. She's relatively smartly dressed, and she has like a big duffel bag with her. And she's, excuse me, I'm looking for a woman called Leslie.
There's no woman called Leslie, but that gentleman over there, the one eating the banana,
no.
arguing with that other guy, his name is Leslie.
Miss, are you looking for me?
I'm looking for Leslie Visser.
That's me. Are you from the paper?
Yes, Alice Duffy. You contacted me earlier. You're a man. I did not expect that.
Is your boss coming? Is his name also Ellis?
No, I'm Alice. I'm the woman that you spoke to through correspondence.
Oh, woman.
Yes. You're a man. You neglected to mention that in your letter.
I didn't think it was necessary.
Well, Mr. Visser, one of the reasons I agreed to come on this trip was because I was assured that it was a female-led expedition.
Right. Did I say that in my letter?
You did. You said it was the Visser expedition and that you were leading them into the highlands of Lima.
Of course it is. That's exactly what we're about to do. But I don't remember if I said I was a woman.
As you're chewing on your words, Larkin is walking slowly over. He wipes some sweat from his brow and he's holding up the paper. He goes, "We are much anticipating the departure of the Visser expedition from Lima to the highlands of Mr. Visser. What is this?" He shakes the paper at you.
You already wrote something in your paper.
Yes, as per our agreement in the letter.
You work very quickly. Yes.
That's how I work.
I'm impressed. I'm
Are
very
there
impressed.
any women on this expedition at all? She's looking around.
There, yes. Where's the one with the rat? And I'm just looking around. She's got to be around here.
Larkin's looking at Ellis's bag. "You're coming with us, madam." That was the plan. It's looking like I might stay behind, though.
Yes, I invited her.
The invitation was under
She's
different
not +1.
circumstances.
She's my +1.
Seeing as how you've never been on an expedition before, I must tell you, +1s aren't really how it works. Right, Mr. Stevens?
I never got a move, but
I mean, we could use more help. She might help out on that trip, you know?
Oh, I'm afraid you misunderstand. There will be no assistance in that capacity. I'm here purely for documentation purposes, of course. What are all your names? She opens up a flip book out of her pocket and starts jotting down with a pencil.
John Stevens. John Michael Stevens.
She starts going around and collecting everyone's names. While she's doing that, you kind of are keeping an eye on her and going Leslie, and you're going, did I say I was a woman? I can't remember. And then Larkin comes up to you. "I'm assuming any additional expenses will be coming out of your pocket for this. I have final approval of every member of the expedition. Assuming that won't be too difficult for you, yes?"
yeah, sure. Just save your receipts, please.
Yes, of course, save the receipts. Very good, Mr. Visser. Where are the others? It's almost 8 o'clock. He starts looking around. There's still no trace of Camilla or Eugene and Brock. Told them right on the hour. We'll be leaving, whether they're here or not. He starts heading back for the lead truck. Roger and John, what are you guys doing?
I'll just approach Larkin and just, ask him if there's anything I can do. Mr. Larkin?
Yes, Mr. Stevens.
Is there anything I can do to kind of get us all ready for this trip? I want to make sure we're fully prepared before we take off.
Of course, if you would...
Which car am I in, by the way?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind handing out seat assignments. To everyone who's here, of course. I don't see Miss May or Mr. Brock anywhere. It's almost 8 o'clock. We'll be leaving. So he hands you a slip of paper with the seat assignments on it. Okay. It looks like, from what he has jotted down, the front truck, which he's in, it's the only one that has a covered bed. The other ones are kind of open. They're flatbeds with wooden panel sides and stuff. It looks like the driver handling the rentals from the rental company is going to be driving the lead car with Larkin as the passenger. The second one has yourself, Leslie, and Ellis. Okay. And the last truck has Roger and Elias in the back with Mendoza driving.
Okay.
And there's slots for slots for Camilla in the back of the first truck or the in the first truck, and then Brock in the final truck as well, if they show up. We'll see.
Okay, I'll,
Wait, who was
go
in the
over-
second truck? I thought Elias was in the second truck.
I'm in the second truck. It's me and Leslie are in the second truck, right?
Yeah, second truck is you, Leslie, and Ellis, and then the final truck in the front is Mendoza, and then Elias and Roger. You're in the back seat, or like you're riding in the bed basically of the final truck.
All right, Leslie, you and the Smiths here will be traveling with me. I'll be driving, and then Roger, you'll be going in the third car with Mendoza and Brock. Is that right? Yeah, let me look at the notes here. Yeah, you get on over there. So at least split you two up a little bit.
Jackson kind of straightens his jacket and nods and kind of starts stowing his pipe and heading to the rear vehicle. Oh, it's like you and I back here. Hopefully this Mendoza doesn't drive too erratically. I like to hold on to my breakfast.
Yeah, we'll see. Just hang on 1 second. So I grab all the weapons out for everybody, because I would rather give it to them now before we leave, just to get this out of the way.
How are you doing that? Are you doing it like discreetly, or are you just handing them out like right there?
He doesn't feel the need to be discreet about it. There's no point. I mean, we know there's going to be things that are happening.
Okay.
So, I'm, don't need it. No one's in the first car, right?
The only people is the driver and Larkin. And that's it. Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't need to go there then. Alright, so second car, I walk up to there, I reach into like the bag and pull out the pistol for John Michael Stevens, as well as his shotgun that I didn't get to.
That's fine. Thank you, sir.
Alright, so what I did was I ended up giving you a bore to the pistol because it didn't have one, so you'll be slightly more accurate now. Shotgun I didn't get to. I had to prioritize, and I couldn't afford to do the shotgun.
I'm much better with the pistol myself anyway, so that's no problem. Thank you for doing the work. I really appreciate it. It's very nice.
Excellent. Yeah, I did get to his knife, right, Dylan? I'm pretty sure I got to. The knives were easy to sharp.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, you did that pretty easily.
All right. Yes, Leslie, here's your knife. I sharpened it for you. Sorry about your harpoon, though. I don't know what happened. Just broke.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't mine. Found it in the docks. It was in a boat next to the docks. So I guess it was mine.
Oh my god.
Good, no harm, no foul then, I guess. Alright, and then I go... I mean, I can't give Camilla her weapon because she's not here. So I've got all my stuff. I've got my walking stick / harpoon. I still got to give John Michael Stevens back his obsidian knife. That I think is probably the one that's more interesting. So
Wow, nice handle on it and everything. This looks very fine work. Thank you very
it
much.
took me a while. It was actually very hard to sharpen that, but I did manage to.
I appreciate it. It's
So-
a beautiful piece, and now with the handle and the sharpening, it's very useful. Appreciate it.
Hopefully we don't have to use it.
While you get done divvying up the weapons, as you're kind of zipping up your duffel,
Yeah.
Mendoza's kind of eyeing you through the slats of the truck while he's putting on his final bag and climbing into the driver's seat. He kind of is just glaring at you and just clambers in without a word, shuts the door. And then you hear
Where my ride goes.
a honking from the front truck. Time to be off now. The others will have to find another way if they're still going to come. And then
All right,
the
I
engine
disassembled
fires
my
up.
staff, by the way.
Okay, so you folded it
Because
up.
I can't fit. I unscrewed the halves and the top, and I put it in. I take it in with me when I come and go into the car.
Okay, so everybody's starting to head to their vehicles. What's everybody doing?
I'm just gonna put all my stuff away. I'll put the shotgun like in the back, but I want to like keep the knife and the pistol on me.
Okay.
And then just trying to get everyone in the car, try to get Leslie situated.
I'm gonna,
Leslie,
why
why don't you grab one of those alcohol bottles?
I'm gonna
be a
help
long
Miss
ride.
Ellis with the bag. It's a quite big duffel bag. I'm gonna put it in the truck for her.
You need a hand?
Alyssa is like walking up to you. She's like kind of looking at you. She's like, I meant to ride in the back of that. She points at the truck.
Yeah, it's the middle car. It's the best one. It's the expedition leader. Guys. Where we going?
Our car's the only one with booze in it, so that's good.
She kind of like hobbles a little bit as she's like trying to climb up into it, but she manages to get up fine, and she kind of like goes nearest to the cab as possible, and like kind of plops down on a crate, kind of straightens her hat a little bit.
If you open that crate, there's some straw in there. It might be a little more comfortable.
She like kind of like looks at you, and then she like pries the lid off, and some of the alcohol bottles are poking out. He goes, "What is this? Tequila? What do you need this for, Mr. Visser?"
There's no bars up there.
Oh, Lord. She starts writing down more notes. The engine fires up at the lead vehicle, and Javier and Larkin take off down the street. Down the block, Eugene, 2 bags in either hand, and Brock, strapped to his back, is
Eugene,
sprinting down.
we're not gonna make it.
As fast as I can, kid.
What the hell is that?
Jackson kind of like squints after them as the kind of goes, hang on a second, Mr. Mendoza, we've got some more. He like
Benjamin is flailing his arms around, like, wait!
You just see Eugene's front like sprinting, and then like little arms behind him, kind of like flailing. But he does catch up as you're firing up the engine, John. Eugene's like really out of breath, and he notices the first available spot is the passenger side of the 3rd vehicle, and
Oh boy!
it looks like you're in here, kid. He like opens the door and like swings you into the seat. Mendoza looks over at you, kind of from the corner of his eye. He goes, "Hey." He turns on the truck. Eugene's kind of huffing, like looking around, like wondering where there's space. There's not really a lot left in the 3rd truck with you guys. It's pretty packed to the brim. You guys are not really hanging out the back or anything, but it's pretty tight. So he climbs up into the back of the 2nd one with Alice and goes, "Oh, new member. I'm Eugene. Alice, I'm charmed, I'm sure. And John, you hit the gas, and we are on our way." And as the 3rd truck pulls up after you, John, Elias just kind of goes, "Well, mercy sakes alive, looks like we've got ourselves a convoy."
Lucky us.
See the music.
Simpsons.
Yeah. So, redlining it. The route you guys are taking does follow the coast. See it there on your right a lot of the time. You pass through several small villages. You see a lot of like farmers like leading alpacas by leads and across the street, kind of eyeing you under their hats, kind of curious what all these white men are doing, kind of in trucks heading down south. In the 3rd truck, Benjamin, since you've been sat next to Mendoza, sweat has just been starting to bead on your temples.
Yeah, he's definitely really, really nervous. And I don't think he's gonna want to be talking to Mendoza, which is out of character because he talks a lot. So
when you find yourself swallowing in the silence, it sounds like almost like gulps. You're very self-conscious of every little noise you're making, and it seems like after every single one, Mendoza's just like.
So, Mr. Mendoza. How's it going?
He's got his right hand on top of the steering wheel. He just doesn't take it off the truck in front of him. He's just following it. He says nothing.
Not much of a talker, huh? So, how long have you been traveling with Mr. Larkin?
He turns and he looks at you, takes his eyes completely off the road.
Do you never cease your endless babbling?
Okay.
In the back of the truck, Elias is kind of eyeing the two passengers up there. He looks at Roger. Do you think we should be worried about the kids sitting up there? I almost think that next time we take a break, one of us should switch with him.
Yeah, we should be worried. He's got this no-light kid up in front talking to possibly the scariest guy on this trip.
Well, I'm glad we're on the same page.
I'm not sitting up there, though.
You think I should do it?
No, I think we should see what happens.
We should leave the kid up there.
He's fine. I mean, look at they're talking. At least he talked. Mendoza talked back once, so that's a good thing, I think.
I just picture they're both like peeking in the window as all this is happening.
It's nice back here. It's a nice day out. Like, why would you want to be inside a truck?
It is a fine day, actually.
You smell the sea? Do you smell it? Oh, it's like my favorite thing.
There's very clear air down here. That is one thing I've enjoyed immensely about this trip.
Yeah, these industrialized societies can be a bit smoky.
Yeah, I've never cared for it too much myself.
Oh, man. Well, so what else do you want to talk about, since we're not going in that truck?
I mean, we got to kick back. It's going to be a long one, at least 2.5 more days until we get to Puno, and then from there another 3, probably, or more to the pyramid.
Are we stopping off anywhere, or is it just like we're just switching drivers type deal?
I can't imagine that we wouldn't stop at any point. I mean, we've got to eat and take breaks, stretch our legs. Sorry, Mr. Brock, if you heard that.
No, you can't hear anything.
Oh, thank God.
The kid's a waddling cadaver at this point. He should be. Hopefully he's okay, though.
Give me a listen roll on that one, Benjamin. Waddling cadaver.
You know what? A waddling cadaver. Hang on. Oh boy. Okay, well, let's see what I got here. That's a 15. Yeah.
So you heard it.
Like, he just looks back. It's like, doesn't say anything. He just looks back at him.
I catch his eye and wave at him, because not realizing he heard it, give him the thumbs up.
Oh my God.
Mendoza just kind of groans.
See, it looked like he was enjoying himself. See the look on his face?
You see his face, his like eyebrows are turned up. He looks very worried.
His face says, "Help!"
Jesse, it's gonna be okay. We should have got some of that booze that Leslie's got stored in that second truck. Next time we stop, I'm gonna go grab one.
He's smiling at you, and as you're saying that, he like parts his jacket and pulls out a bottle from one of the inner pockets. Well, I had a thought of that myself, and I thought he wouldn't miss just one.
Well, that might not be true, but he doesn't know now, so that's all that matters.
He reaches down and unzips one of the nearby kind of packs and pulls out 2 cups and hands you one.
Oh, and you have 2 cups. Look at you. We don't got to drink out of the neck of a bottle.
No, of course not.
That's good. That would be
We
classless.
are, after all,
Can't do
civilized.
that. Yes, we are. Oh, this is lovely.
Meanwhile, back in the cabin, Brock, you're just shaking.
So, got any family?
Dead.
Personally, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. My family's, you know, they're back in the States. You know, actually, they don't even know I'm going on this expedition. They thought I was just kind of doing some internship thing. So that's kind of that's kind of the situation I'm in right now. You know, I've actually been really excited about this entire thing. I'm just so nervous. So nervous.
There's like this just pause while you're like waiting for Mendoza to react in some way. And he kind of looks over at you and he's like,
Are you speaking to me this whole time?
Yep. Yes, I have.
while he's distracted, his eyes aren't on the road. Up ahead, John, you've had to brake for a boulder kind of in the middle of the road, and kind of brake check Mendoza a little bit. And in the back of the third truck, you guys kind of hop up. Roger and Elias kind of like almost spill your drinks down your front there.
Whoa! What was that?
In the back of the second truck, Eugene is sitting kind of close to Ellis and is like, "Yeah, that's the secret to the right hook. You got to feel that. Check out this bicep." And he holds up his arm, and she's just kind of like staring at him. Yes, I'm sure it's lovely. So, Mr. Visser, how long have you been an explorer? She kind of picks up her voice a little bit to carry over the sound of the wind rushing by.
It's tough to track that down. You could say all my life, you know, in spirit.
In spirit.
Yes, use that quote to me.
And these others, what can you tell me about them?
Which others? Which ones? This guy right here.
Sure.
His name's John. He's also an explorer, probably not the seasons of me, if you know what I'm talking about. But he's quite formidable.
Thanks, Leslie.
You're welcome. So, tell her a very little about yourself. He's asking after all.
So from Wisconsin, traveled to Alaska, explored up there for a few years, and then got brought down here. I like to travel.
Man, I think you're starting up. If you want any questions out of me, let me know. Seeing as it is my expedition, you know.
She's like writing down all these notes that John is telling her. So, Mr. Stevens, what was the expedition in Alaska regarding?
So I went to this old native tribe, and I was trying to find artifacts all around, and I ended up finding this beautiful site. It's hundreds of years old, all these old tools and weapons, things like that. Got pictures, and it was just absolutely amazing. It's beautiful up there. These things had never been seen before, so they're brand new discoveries. A pretty big deal.
She's like glued to your words and just jotting down everything you say. And in the middle of your talking,
I've been there.
yeah, there it is.
You've been there, Leslie. You've been to Alaska.
Yeah, I was in Alaska. It's the cold place, right?
Yes, I suppose you could say it's pretty cold up there.
Right. Yeah. See, I feel you. See, I was there. You can write that down.
Of course, she like closes the notebook, like flips to, like takes a different one out. Myself, I never been on one of these. I always wanted to, but it's kind of crazy. Man, that kid gets me into all sorts of shit. What the hell he's doing? He like looks back and just sees Benjamin shaking through the windshield of the third truck. Oh shit! I'm glad I'm not riding with him.
That was funny.
So, Mr. Visser, it appears that you've been stretching the truth a little bit. This isn't the Visser expedition at all.
Please call me Leslie. And I don't know what you're talking about. It could be anybody's expedition as far as I'm concerned.
So,
but it's mine.
what do you do for a living? Not exploring, clearly.
What's with all the questions?
That's why you hired me to come along, isn't it? I'm just trying to get a
She's a
clearer
reporter,
picture.
right? Isn't that why you brought her?
Thanks, John, for reminding me.
No problem.
I'm a deep sea, I'm a deep sea explorer. I study the seas from underwater and explore.
Is that like a way of saying you're a diver?
Right, yep, I'm a diver.
Deep Sea Explorer. She's like writing it down. Have you been credited with any fines?
Yes, found many things. Legal things? Like, what can I say here? Are you writing everything down?
She's like turning sheets constantly, just filling each page to the brim with little notes.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I found things. All kinds of things. Treasures. You know, booty.
What does treasure constitute to a deep sea diver? Curious.
Lots of wrecked boats. To be quite honest. But sometimes you find stuff in the wrecked boats, like old whiskey and dead guys and just fish that have been caught underneath the boat. That's kind of funny. It's like going so slow and then it still crushes the fish. How did it happen?
So, Mr. Stevens, why did you come on this expedition? Why did Mr. Visser pick you to come along?
Bessie?
Well, Mr. Visser didn't pick me to come along. It was actually Larkin sent me a letter.
And we get to the heart of it. She goes to a new page.
I mean, I didn't want to sell out Leslie here, but no, he's not the one who set this up. I was invited by Larkin, and I kind of wanted to get out of Alaska after some issues, so it was kind of nice to get away for a little bit. Just came down here and wanted to see something different.
Interesting. The psychosis of a man willing to lie. Very curious.
Sorry,
Right now,
eventually.
What did you just write down? I feel like you said something out loud as you were saying it.
Oh, never mind me, dear. She like flips it shut and stows it. So tell me more about this right hook, Mr. Eckler. Oh yeah. So he just starts going on and on and on. A few hours later, you guys stop for lunch. You kind of pull off the road, and there's a man selling fresh vegetables, some nice corn, and whatnot in a little stall. And you guys pull up into just a break for lunch, stretch your legs, or whatever you'd like to do.
Oh, yeah. I feel that's a targeted statement there, isn't it?
So while you're stopping, you're like waiting for Eugene to come collect you, but he's just like enamored with this reporter, and he's like following her around, talking to her. Like he's completely forgotten that you exist.
God dang it, Eugene.
Is he still there next to him?
Mendoza is, yeah, he's just sitting there still. He's got his hands on the steering wheel, not moving.
Oh my god. So Eugene is going to get his notebook, and he's gonna kind of write down to distract himself from the imminent danger that is right next to him. So that's what he's gonna be doing. He's just gonna continue writing about what has been happening so far.
While you're jotting stuff down, Roger, what are you doing? Elias is kind of getting up and stretching his legs, kind of wandering over to the shore.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into my bag real quick because I didn't get to see Eugene. I got his like those knuckle dusters I made for him.
The brass knuckles.
So I'm gonna, yeah. Well, I don't know if they're brass, so I can't say brass
Oh, well.
knuckles. That would be inappropriate.
Oh,
Be more like iron knuckles, maybe.
Brasses.
That's what
even better.
I imagine them being iron. So I take them and I jump out of the back or whatever, and I just walk right past Benjamin as he's friggin' trying to write shit down in his notepad. Just ghost him as I keep walking.
Oh my god.
So then I go to the second car and I hear Eugene chattering away. And then I knock on the door real quick just to get his attention. Eugene, buddy? You there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, remember when I said I was going to make those things for you?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Well, I made them.
No
Here you go.
kidding. Wow.
Yeah, try them on for me.
These are the bee's knees. Slides his fingers into it. Like, tests it a little bit. Oh boy, I could really do some pepper with these things. And then he, like, kind of hides his hands from Ellis as she's kind of, like, watching. Goes, no, not that I'm not a violent man or anything like that. I never hit nobody, especially a woman. I would never hit a woman, I swear to God.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man, they're more like convenient paperweights. They're not really... He wanted to hold paper down, so I figured I'd make him these. Works out well.
Those you need knuckle dusters.
She's kind of like...
I walked away.
She's squinting after you. She climbs out of the back of the truck, and she's kind of chasing after you. She's like flipping to a new page. She like looks back to reference her notes. Mr. Lynch, correct? Sir,
Yeah.
to be expected some modicum of danger on this trip.
Well, yeah. There's danger everywhere. You standing in the sun is dangerous. You know that? Like, the UV rays coming off that sun, wasn't for the atmosphere would cook you where you stand.
Okay.
So everything
we're gonna do a
probably
roll.
gonna
We
get
gotta do a
melanoma
roll
just
for this
standing
one.
here.
You gotta give me like a fast talk roll or something on that one, because that's
Alright, I don't know if I want to use fast talk. Can I use physics? Only because it's 6 points higher. And if I get it, I actually gonna put a point in it.
How the hell is this gonna be a physics roll? Like, justify a physics roll to me, and maybe.
If you make me laugh, we'll allow it.
Oh my god. Well, I was gonna talk to her about reflection and refraction. About, refraction being a change in direction of a wave passing from one medium to another. Or from a gradual change in the medium, like the waves on the ocean.
Okay, fine. Just give me a physics roll. Just give me a physics roll.
All right. I'm probably not gonna pass it, but I'm gonna try. I got a 79. So no, I did not pass that at all.
Would you like to push your physics roll?
I don't know how I justify pushing it.
Yeah, you're already kind of pushing it.
I don't think I can.
You could try
push that.
fast talk if you would like as a backup.
That's still 20. That's even less.
I know,
but I'll give it a shot.
I'll let you try it. You probably can't push that one though.
I won't. I won't push any. I won't push either of them. All right. I rolled a 67. So no.
She kind of like stops dead in the middle of your explanation and kind of like pulls her hat a little closer and goes, "I see." She shuts her notebook and starts heading for the lead vehicle. A few of you notice that she's now making conversation with Larkin.
Thank God.
I'm gonna get out of the car and quickly walk up to them.
Oh my god.
As you get closer, you hear Larkin. Well, it's not the man's have said. This is my expedition. It's not his. Here he is, of course. Mr. Visser, will you please explain the truth to this young lady?
Alright, so maybe I did a bit, I'm not going to say lie, but stretch the truth, just a bit. Well, not really a bit. I mean, I feel like I'm his second in command at least, right?
Good lord, what have I done? he walks away from the truck and like heads to the beach, and he just kind of stares at the water, like kind of solemnly for a minute.
Right, so, yes, I did quite, maybe, don't want to say manipulate, but convince you to come, but I promise you it will be promising.
All right. We're going to cut the bullshit, as they say. There's something else going on. I can see it on their faces. There's concern everywhere. Mr. Lynch led me on some wild story about how the sun's rays would burn me alive. Didn't answer my question about danger on the trip. So I'd very much like to know what's going on and why you brought me along. Or I'm going to try to find someone to take me back to Lima.
You see, here's the thing. We are going to look for this place, right? It's hidden. Nobody knows where it is. So if we find that, that's super cool in itself. But then there's this other thing, like, people are dying. Like a lot of people. And there's this guy, might be a vampire. That's also pretty cool too. So we're kind of heading in that direction.
Up until the word vampire, her brows are kind of down, focused, and she's writing very intently. And then the minute you say vampire, her eyes just flick up to you. Good lord, you've got to be joking. Oh my god.
You see,
She
usually
starts stomping away from you.
I'm gonna follow her.
She's like standing on the road now, kind of looking left and right, trying to find vehicles, but there's literally just like one Peruvian man with a donkey, like walking away, like down south, like the same direction you're heading. She's like, oh god.
Listen, you asked, right? And so I gave you the answer for once. This was the truth. If it was a lie, it would have been probably closer to the truth. You know what I mean?
What I think is closer to the truth is that you are a drunken wastrel, wasting my time like this. Vampires? You've got to be kidding me. This is such a waste of time.
Didn't even have a drink yet today. Had a banana. So, shove that in your face, right? But the story's still there. I mean, we are going on an expedition. We are finding something.
If you don't mind, Mr. Visser, I'm going to ride in the lead truck until we get to Kamana, and I'm going to be heading back to Lima, unless I find reason otherwise.
She kind of goes to the lead truck. And she's just shaking her head as she walks further away from you. And Eugene kind of goes up to her at one point, tries to, but she kind of like brushes him off, and he kind of like shrugs, and then he looks over at you. He's like, "You just had to ruin a good thing, didn't you?" And then he walks over to the second truck and climbs up into the back.
It's kind of my thing. He's kicking rocks in the middle of the street.
As everybody's kind of lunching, Benjamin, you're still trying to you're kind of your hand shaking as you're getting to your notes. You're kind of running out of things to talk about to yourself with. And when you look over, Mendoza he's leaning over. He's like a foot away from you, and he's like staring at the papers in your hands.
You write
Hi.
a lot.
Yeah. It's my hobby. I'm gonna be writing quite a bit about what we're doing on this expedition.
You write like that woman.
And he points. He looks after Ellis, who's climbing into the back of the first truck.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
He slowly leans back, creaking into the chair as Jackson is clambering back up into the back. Oh, that was good. Oh, Mr. Brunk, were you in there the whole time? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Would you like to get out, get some air, maybe some food?
Yeah, I could definitely use something to eat, please. Please.
Of course. He kind of hustles over. Eugene kind of sees Jackson trying to help you out, and he goes, "Oh God!" He hustles over. I'm sorry, kid. I didn't mean to forget you. Come on, let's get you some food. He hefts you up and swings you onto his back, and as he's fixing you up to take you after the cart with the corn and everything, Mendoza's just glaring at you as you're dangling from him until he kind of vanishes out of view. Convoy. So you guys have continued down the road
Okay.
after your lunch. It's getting close to it's getting close to dark. It's after dusk at this point. Like the sunset's kind of blaring on your right. And Larkin's truck pulls aside, and Javier starts waving everybody to pull over. Larkin leans out the window. Just wanted to see if we wanted to continue on for a few more hours, if you'd like to perhaps make camp. Don't think there's another village for at least another 50 miles or so.
Yeah, let's camp out here. Might as well be safe about it. Plenty of time.
He nods.
Sure.
He slaps the door, and the lead truck pulls off. You guys only drive for probably another maybe 2.5 miles before you find a good place to pull off and make camp. Javier helps Mendoza start setting up like a tent. They set up like kind of like a big, it's not quite the size of like a banquet tent, but it's the kind of setup, it's got two, it's got the lean-to roof, big wooden staves, kind of pounded in, set that up, set up a small table. But everybody else is kind of
personal tent.
exactly, yeah. Everybody else is left kind of to fend for themselves. So what would everybody like to do?
I brought a tent with me, so I'll set that up for myself.
Yep.
Everyone stuff.
I'm gonna help him.
Okay.
What's the forecast, Dylan? Like, what does it look like outside?
Clear skies, very bright stars, no clouds on the horizon whatsoever. The mountains are off to your east, though, are pretty tall. You can't really see on the other side of those. But from what you can tell from your experience in the area, it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool, just crisp night. But other than that, yeah, no bad weather on the horizon.
All right. I'd like to find like 2 trees, that closer to the water. I assume we're still like near the coast.
You're pretty near the coast. It's like you kind of pulled off in a clearing that's kind of in a relatively forested area, but just through the forest there's the beach.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably go find 2 trees closer to the beach.
Okay.
And see if I can makeshift a hammock.
Sure. Would you like to do a roll for that, or not so much? Sure.
I think a roll.
Tinker roll. Give me a tinker roll for when you go to the bathroom later too. No, just give me a mechanical roll. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Or a natural world roll to determine which trees are strong enough.
He falls.
Oh, well. I mean, I can do natural world. I actually have some of that. All right. Natural world is a 66, so that's a fail.
Okay. Then give me a mech repair then.
Mechanical repair is 31.
Okay. So you find what looks to be a pretty suitable spot. And as you're tying up one side of the hammock, Leslie kind of strolls up behind you carrying up his giant fish net. And his button-up shirt has like he's got like wearing this like button-up shirt with a turtle on it, and it's kind of unbuttoned like the first 4 buttons, and he starts tying it to the exact same tree.
Leslie, what are you doing? These are my trees, Leslie.
You're gonna use these trees with what? I was gonna put my hammock here. It's a perfect spot.
I was gonna put mine here, Leslie.
You have a hammock too.
Yes,
We just go
Leslie.
next to each other.
No, we don't got to do that, Leslie. Why don't we find our own space so we can kind of have our own little,
It'll be warmer.
private... Well, not really. We're not spooning, Leslie.
Never.
No, we couldn't. No, we couldn't.
Roll to see if you are.
A couple of these,
Rock, paper,
have a
scissors.
couple drinks, maybe we will be.
Should I try to persuade him, Dylan?
If you would like to, go for it.
I'm doing it. What's wrong with it?
I don't trust your fucking rolls.
Okay. Nope. 98.
Oh shit!
hard fail.
So not only Do not convince me. I go, you know, Leslie, take these 2 trees. Only because I failed that natural world roll, so I don't trust him now. So I'll find 2 more trees.
Okay. So he like stops off further away. While you're trying to like stutter out your persuasion attempt, you didn't even manage to get a single word out before he just started shaking his head and untying his hammock. While you're doing that, Jackson Elias he's been kind of like walking. He's been looking at you guys kind of curiously, with kind of like a little look of mirth on his face. Like he seemed to be enjoying the bickering a little bit, and he's been gathering some firewood and bringing it to a kind of little middle point off the road, just a nice little clearing where people aren't setting up their tents, and arranging it in a nice pile and getting ready to start a fire.
Can I go join him by the fire?
Okay. He's got the.
I think Benjamin would also like to sit by the fire.
Okay. So Jackson's got his pipe, kind of like clenching his teeth out one side of his mouth, kind of blowing smoke out the other corner of his mouth, and he's kneeling down in front of this thing, and he's trying to strike some matches and to light this thing up.
Are you have your hand there, or Jesse?
Actually, now that you mention it, right in the back of that thing was... It didn't do anything good for my back. If you wouldn't mind taking care of it, that'd be great.
Yeah, no problem. I have some whiskey too if you want to take the edge off. Just kind of bend down and try to like start the fire or help with the fire.
At this point, Benjamin is kind of coming over. And by coming over, I mean he's like using his fists on the ground to create like a fulcrum and swinging his lower. Yeah, he's basically waddling.
Yeah.
Brock, what are you doing, man? Do you need a hand?
No, I've got it. I can't have Eugene carry me all the time.
Are you doing okay? You looked like you were sick or like you ate something wrong or something.
Well, if you didn't notice, the seating arrangement. Oh, God.
I feel you. I was with Leslie. That guy talks a lot. It's pretty brutal.
You put me with Mendoza.
I didn't put you with Mendoza. I just followed the list.
Well, who made the damn list?
Larkin. He's the one who gave it to me.
Well, now Larkin's come over and he comes and sits on a log next to John, who's sitting there just finishing creating the fire. It's like flames. First little flames are starting to spread. One day down, 2 left before Puno. How's everyone doing?
Doing okay now. I got my whiskey and my pipe and feeling a little more relaxed now that the day's almost over.
I've been able to at least take some time to do my writing.
Oh, yes. Seems we have more than one writer on this trip. What are you taking notes on, Mr. Brock? What exactly would you say your area of expertise is?
Well, my area of expertise would be really archaeology. But you know, I do a little bit of astronomy, cryptography. I'm just kind of writing about what's happening. It's more of a personal journal than a report.
Yeah, there's something rather cathartic about taking personal notes like that. I should probably get back into the habit.
Yes, it can be quite relaxing.
At this point, Eugene has kind of come over, and Ellis is she's lingering a little bit further away from like the main circle around the fire. She's kind of leaning against a tree and kind of just watching everyone. Roger, you finished tying up your hammock. What would you like to do?
I'd like to take out, like, to go in my bag, take out my walking stick and reassemble it.
Okay.
And then I'd like to go and collect some wood, like sticks and whatnot. I have a funny idea.
It only takes you a few minutes to find some good loose ones that you can, like, just on the floor of the forest.
Alright, and then I go to the fire and I put some of the wood like near it, you know, some of the branches and you know pieces that I found, and then there's like two nice sticks that I found. So I sit down next to the fire and I take out my knife and I slowly start carving them into points.
Oh.
And I look up and I eye up Mendoza and I slice one more. And then I look back down and continue to slice.
Wow.
And then when I'm finished, I inform everybody. All right, guys, just if anyone needs it, I've got extra staves in case we need them. Okay?
Mendoza,
For tents and whatnot, of course.
Mendoza
yeah,
kind of
just in
glares
case.
at you, and he spits in the fire, and he kind of wanders off to one of the trucks and disappears into the night.
Jesus.
So who would like one of those staves? I'm just curious who's gonna have one.
I'm good just because I already have my dagger.
Comes running up.
Good lord.
Who came running up? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Leslie.
Leslie.
So you got a big stick for me, eh?
Yeah, well, I made it for whoever needed them, just in case you had to, you know, put a tent down or something. Anything else? Okay. You just gotta put your hammock,
That's nice.
tie your hammock down, yeah.
Right. That's gonna be it for a beer holder.
Well, kid, it's getting kind of late. I think I'm gonna tuck in. If that's cool with you.
Okay, real quick, do you mind if we check our bags? Just real quick.
Well, sure, kid. That's fine. You want to come with me,
Okay.
or do you want me to do it?
I'll go with you.
All right, come on. You guys head over to the truck.
Yes, so he basically, I think he just wants to check and see if he still has those two artifacts, just to kind of, you know, take a quick look at them, you know.
Okay. I'm going to need a group luck roll.
Well, it's either camera or, yeah, camera or Lucas.
We're both at 45, I think.
Yeah.
Or my
I don't know.
No, you're still both at 45.
One of you needs to spend one, just one.
Cameron goes next, I think.
Okay. Okay, Cam, give me a D100 there.
Don't screw it up.
I'll do my best.
You can do
Oh
it.
yeah, 93.
Oh my god. God damn. You know, I have a bad feeling you just killed me.
I'm gonna roll to see what I would have gotten.
Okay.
A 59. So,
You said it both fails. Okay, that works. So you start rifling through the bag. The big gold bar, like the long gold piece, is like right there, wrapped underneath your shirts, right where you left it. For the life of you, you can't find the other thing. You can't find that little, the kind of mask looking
mask?
thing. Yeah.
God, where did it go?
Did you lose it?
Well, it was in the bag. I put it in the bag.
Eugene starts scratching his head. He did pack in kind of a hurry. Oh, might have left it behind.
Oh no, I know. I did not leave that behind. There is no way I'm leaving that thing behind.
What, you think somebody took it?
Well, I mean, there's Mendoza's in the stinking car with me. I don't know. Can I do a spot hidden?
Yes.
Yay! Oh god, that's a 25. Okay, let's see if I can do it. That is a 4. Oh boy. Hot
Mendoza
damn.
is up by the second truck, and he's kind of he's like rifling through something in the back of the truck. But that's about all you can make out. Everybody else is still kind of near the fire.
Oh god. No, he's definitely not brave enough to go over and say hi to Mendoza. So no, they're just gonna go back to the fire.
Eugene might be.
Eugene might be. It's, that's really not up to me though.
Ask Eugene if he sees it.
Eugene, Mendoza's over there. He's looking through some stuff, but I'm really stinking scared of that guy.
Yeah, no shit, he's fucking crazy scary.
Well, man, I can't believe we don't have it in the bag.
And, maybe it'll turn up. Maybe when you just dump everything out in the morning light, take a look, then you never know.
Alright.
Don't panic over nothing.
Okay, you're right. Let's go back.
As I recall, you stole that thing anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're not talking about that. Okay.
Yeah.
What happens in Peru stays in Peru.
We're still in Peru, you stupid little...
Yes, but it's gonna stay here. Alright, let's go back.
So what is everybody else doing? It's getting kind of late.
I want to just kind of get ready for bed. So I'm gonna just kind of go to my tent and I want to kind of spread like sticks and around my campsite just so I can kind of hear if people are approaching me, just as a precaution.
You're making a sea bear circle?
Are you doing it where is your tent compared to the fire? How far away?
Probably 20 feet away. So I could still see the fire, give a look, but I'm a little bit private, kind of off on my own.
Cool. So you yeah, let me see if there's a roll I can make you do. Hold on. Da-da-da-da. Give me a natural world roll.
32. Yes.
That's a success. So yeah, you managed to create a little, just a nice little barrier of sticks and hide them under the foliage well enough that anybody kind of coming near you would not be able to see them, unless they, of course, saw you making the barrier. But yeah, you managed to make it just fine.
Then I guess I'll just sit down and smoke my pipe, read my book, and drink whiskey, and then just get ready for bed.
Okay. It's getting a little dark to read by natural light, so you'd have to fire up your oil lamp.
Yeah, I'll fire that bad boy up.
Sure. What is everybody else doing?
Benjamin's waiting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is she? So I walk over there by the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ellis.
Mr. Visser?
I did want to apologize about earlier. I misled you on coming.
Well, would you mind telling me why?
I need this story to be documented, and also need it sent back to the paper. Every time we hit a town or a port, we're going to send a letter back with your notes in it.
I was, of course, already planning on keeping my editor apprised, but what do you have in mind? She kind of looks over your shoulder and notices your voice going a little lower and kind of mimics that. Kind of tries to keep her voice out of earshot of anyone else.
Well, you see, the funny thing is, the real reason why I'm so terribly sorry is every person on this expedition, you see, their life is in danger, and I don't think anyone is going to make it out.
So you brought me along? These dangerous men?
Right, well, see, that's kind of why I need you to help us.
I don't know if I can do that. It seems like I'm getting way in over my head. I didn't think it was anything like this. When you said it was... He starts kind of panicking a little bit.
So, here's the thing. If you leave now, they probably won't let you leave, so you might as well just stick around and see if we can stick it out, you know what I mean?
You're telling me these men wouldn't let me leave if I went up and just said I was leaving?
Well, how do you think I feel? I don't get to take care of Boris right now. He's with some small child, I think. I forget what it is.
Who is Boris?
He's the tortoise, of course.
Boris the tortoise. Oh, God.
Boris the tortoise. You can write that down.
She has a very pained look on her face as she wanders toward her tent.
Oh my god.
Every time you get an inch closer to convincing her, something ridiculous comes up. Roger, what are you up to?
Kick rocks back in my head.
I am creating a sophisticated snare trap from the most likely place that people would approach me from.
Okay. And I'm assuming you're further away because you're closer to the beach, right? Like you're kind of like right on the tree line.
I want to be able to see the water, yeah.
Okay. So it's safe to say that you're pretty much out of. No one can really see what you're up to. So I would say go ahead and give me a mechanical repair roll for this. Or yeah, let me look at your sheet really quick. I might have a better one. Nah, that's probably going to be it.
I got a 10.
Yeah, you've done this several times. That is just muscle memory for you. You managed to place it right down. And
I use the fishing
absolutely
line
no
that I
problem.
have with me.
Okay. Oh, it's almost invisible too. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Someone would have to know that it was there for sure.
Yeah.
What'd you use for like a counterbalance?
I was thinking of using. I was thinking about using another tree, like maybe a skinnier one that maybe I could like leverage off of. Something like that. I don't know what. I'm assuming there's got to be skinnier trees in the area, or at least something that bends
sure.
with the younger tree.
Yeah.
Is he still near me, Dylan?
He went a ways away, but he didn't say how far. I'll let him justify that right now. How far away did you go from Leslie's setup?
A distance.
Okay,
He
good.
took my spot, so
Like at least 50 yards
at least.
minimum.
Okay, good.
I'd
Just
say
down
that
the tree line
yours is
further.
probably well and away. Your hammock is well and away from everybody else's position at this point.
All right. Good. Hopefully nobody gets attacked in their sleep.
Anything else you'd like to do?
No, that's pretty much it.
Mr. Brock, what would you like to do?
I think he's gonna go to sleep.
Okay.
He's gonna have some sweet dreams.
So you head to your tent, which is right next to Eugene's, and it's a much smaller tent that your family's actually used for the dog, but you stole it before you left.
Well, he doesn't have legs, so you know, it's practical.
So yeah, you crawl in there.
Sorry, the mental imagery. This kid.
Say like Fido on it.
Okay. Anyways, sorry. Oh my god. Okay.
Just imagine little lights coming through the flaps, just like, "Good night, Eugene. Good night, Brock," and then the lights go out.
Yes.
Jackson and Larkin are still kind of kicking up by the fire a little bit. Larkin seems to be kind of yawning, and Jackson's just kind of steadily watching, just being quiet. Miss Duffy got a tent from one of the ones that Larkin brought along, and Javier's helping her set it up like the rest of the way. And she's kind of getting tucked in, and so is Javier's kind of just poking around. Mr. Visser, what are you up to?
Yes. I'm kicking rocks back to my hammock.
Okay.
Right before I go to bed, I take the staff that Roger gave me, and I'm like swinging it around like a sword and like piercing the air. Getting some energy out before I go to sleep, and then I throw myself in the hammock and immediately pass out.
Okay. So everybody's in bed at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. I need a group luck roll.
God damn it. Alright. I got a 13.
Nice.
Okay.
Lucky
Cool.
me.
So I guess that's up to me to decide.
I changed my dice out, and it's been working for me. I'm not using the wizard dice anymore.
Why are those too high?
I rolled 5 times in a row, nothing below 60.
Oh yeah, when you lost the race.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
So it's like well past midnight. It's getting pretty chilly, but not like unseemly so. Brock in particular, you're having difficulty adjusting your comfort level, like sleeping on the ground. But you do you kind of are tossing and turning a little bit. Leslie and Roger have no such problems because they're in hammocks. They're very comfortable. They have absolutely no problem sleeping. John Michael Stevens, probably around 1:30 in the morning, you hear a twig snap outside your tent. And it immediately wakes you up.
So I get up and just like immediately grab my revolver and like have my knife in one hand, or like I have my knife like on my chest, and then just kind of like listening. Kind of do like a listen roll to see if I hear anything in particular. I don't want them to know that I'm awake or whatever.
Yeah, give me a listen roll if you'd like.
Fucking it.
So after that initial snapping of a twig underfoot, you hear absolute stillness outside. Just the waves a distance away through the trees and the wind through the branches.
I want to quickly like turn the lamp on and then unzip the tent and then like just throw it open.
About 35 feet away, someone there's like a figure in the woods. And they kind of stop and they turn and look at you, and you just see the twinkle of the reflection of your lamp in their eyes. And then they dart into the woods.
You! So I'll kind of like take like a couple steps towards them, but like I don't know if I can keep up with them. I'm not gonna like go chasing after them, but
Okay.
like just
It
walk
takes.
in that direction,
Let me see. Give me a dex roll. See how quickly you can get to your feet.
57.
Okay, so you're kind of shocked just at what you see here, and when you're like kicking yourself out of the tent, you kind of fumble and like drop your lamp, and you go to pick it up before you run like about 10 feet away and kind of start looking in the direction this person went, and you can't see where they went. I need listen rolls from everyone in the general area of the first campsite. So probably not Roger, maybe Leslie. It'll be a hard listen roll for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Here I come.
Ooh. Benjamin got an 82.
I got a
Benjamin
16.
dozing. Oh wow.
Oh, can I put it because he's having a hard time sleeping?
Yeah.
And
totally.
anything could probably wake him up. Okay. That's much better. That's a 14.
Nice.
Okay. Let me see if you.
I like these
change
dice.
this. Oh shit! He heard nothing. 99.
Ooh. Oh my god.
Wow.
Is he just dead?
He actually just went deaf.
He just went dead. He's having a dream that he's at a concert, like a fiddle concert or something. Oh wow. Okay. Larkin got a 97. He didn't hear anything either.
Oh my god.
So, Leslie and Brock, you both hear these, hear the cry of "Hey you," and it takes you a second to process whose voice it is, but you both realize that it's John.
Okay.
I sit up
Huh?
and immediately fall and swing out of the hammock and onto the ground.
Oh, John, what's going on?
There
You
was
say
a
to the
man
tent
or a
around
thing.
you.
Brock, is that you?
Yes.
So I'll go walk over to Brock. Just
I
like,
swear, with all this yelling, everybody would have woken up at this point.
so I'll walk over to Brock. Did you see that man or that thing?
No, you woke me up with your yelling.
There was a thing up by my tent. It was either looking at me or trying to get to me. I put sticks around my tent to alert me of any intruders, and they went off. And at first I thought it might have been nothing, but I came out of my tent and there was this man or this thing a few feet away, and
Well, first
I
it
don't
was
know
very
if-
intuitive, but was it a man or a thing?
Leslie walks up at this
I-
point.
Leslie-
What you guys talking about? Why'd you wake me up?
John saw a thing,
there was
or a man.
with all the shit that we've seen. Is it so crazy to believe that I saw something strange?
Well, I haven't seen anything.
It was vaguely man-shaped.
Okay. Either something's following me or something's following us, but just keep your eyes open. I don't feel very safe around here. Keep yourself armed. Be ready. Don't drink too much, Leslie. And just,
Eyes open. We're sleeping. How are we supposed to do that?
Well, I'm all arms.
no, just keep your senses alert.
Shouldn't we have somebody watching over us, watching? Are we asleep?
I don't think we're that lucky.
My finger goes to my nose. Not it.
I kind of just put my fingers
Benjamin
on
has
the
not
brow of my head and just I'm like, ah.
At this point, you guys hear rustling in a nearby tent, and Jackson Elias pokes his head out. Yeah, what's all that ruckus? What's going on?
John saw something.
There's a man by my tent.
This old guy's thing.
There's a mine by your tent.
A man by my tent, and I don't feel good about it.
He kind of starts climbing out. He's stoked up an oil lamp and kind of drawn his arms close around him as he's kind of shivering a little bit. Yeah, you saw someone. Might have
I've learned
to.
one thing in all my travels is to trust your instincts, and I do not feel good about whatever is by my tent. It's in the middle of the night and something is approaching my tent while I'm sleeping.
Well, perhaps it's best we keep watch then. I still don't know what we're going to do about this Mendoza character.
I agree. I'll bring my tent over by you, Jackson, if you don't mind, and maybe we can just keep a watch or something. I'm not going to sleep right now. I'm fully awake. I can kind of keep watch for the first few hours if you'd like.
I could barely stay standing, if I'm honest. I might take you up on that. If you want to take the first ship, I'd be glad to take the second.
Why don't you go to sleep? I'm going to bring my tent over here, and I'll wake you in a few hours. I'm fully awake right now. I suggest you be careful, Brock, and keep an eye out and just keep your ears open.
All right.
Leslie, I don't know if you want to move your hammock or if you feel safe over there, but just be very careful.
Can you see me from here?
I can barely see you. I mean,
It's
should be
almost
all right then.
impossible. Like, his hammock is black fishnet, so it's like, it blends in so hardcore. There's like no way you can see him.
I don't think I'll be able to help you out, man. I don't know if you want to move over here. I mean,
Cheat. Fine, I'll move closer.
you can sleep in my tent until you take the next shift, and maybe we can all rotate.
All
Roll
right,
for
good.
spooning.
Roger tries to steal my trees again. You tell me first.
Okay.
All right.
Alright, so I'll just sit out and smoke my pipe, and I'm just very kind of agitated and kind of keep watch for the first few hours.
Okay. You managed to stay awake for quite a while before Elias crawls back out. He actually left the flap of his tent open.
Mm-hmm.
He basically had a hat over he kept his fedora over his eyes. And a few hours later, he kind of rouses himself and he comes out. He's like, well, I can take over for a while if you want, Mr. Stevens.
Yes,
You see
that'd be
anything?
great. I didn't see anything else. My nerves are still a little bit up. I'm very fatigued. I think I need a few hours. If you don't mind, I feel much better if you could just keep watch for a couple hours. Maybe I don't know if we can trust Leslie, but maybe he can take the next watch. Or
He pulls out his pocket watch and he's like, oh, it's about 3:40. I might be able to stay up until 6, but perhaps I'll
go see if Mr. Visser wants to take over in a few hours.
That sounds good. Thank you, Jefferson.
No
I'll
problem.
leave my pipe out here if you'd like to use it.
Oh, sure. Sure. Thank you.
I'll go into his tent and go to sleep in there. His
The
rest is
rest-
in my tent, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Leslie. Well, Leslie moved himself closer at least.
Yeah.
The rest of the night goes by. Leslie, when you wake up, it's not Jackson who's woken you up, but it's Larkin has been kind of yawning and speaking for several minutes. And he's talking with Elias. He's Mr. Hughes here up rather early. I couldn't quite adjust to the ground either. Ended up sleeping in one of the trucks. Ugh. Yeah, it is kind of rocky over here. Oh, Mr. Visser, good morning.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Well, could be a damn sight better, but not too bad. Do you want some coffee?
Oh, I would love some coffee.
He's already got like a pot like brewing, like ready to go on the fire by the time everybody else starts waking up. When you wake up, Roger, you find a hair in your snare that you made,
A hair?
like a rabbit.
Oh! It's a rabbit.
Because it was a hair.
Well, it could be a hair. I'm like, how would I have noticed that?
It was a jackalope.
Oh, excellent. That looks like breakfast. I get excited. I get up. I also, I get my walking stick. And, what's the status of this rabbit?
The status of the rabbit is it's relatively plump, and other than, being just dangling there, like kind of like freaking out a little bit still.
Okay,
Dangling
that's
by
what
its
I wanted
foot.
to hear.
Like,
So, I take my stick, and I swing like a piñata,
Oh my god.
and club its head in.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, since it's in a snare, you don't even have to do like any kind of roll. We're just gonna roll for damage at this point.
We're in combat.
I swear to God. Hang on. How many hit points does that rabbit have?
Well,
One more than you.
no comment. We'll see how much damage he does here.
It's got more than you, that's for sure.
So, see, actually, it's. I'm not gonna comment. Okay, so your damage for Harpoon Brawl is it's a 1d8
Yes, but I'm
plus
not
1
using the
plus damage
harpoon.
bonus. Oh yeah,
I'm
what were you
using the
using?
walking stick.
Okay,
So
that's
it's
true.
I'm just clubbing it, so it shouldn't be as like maybe like a 1d6
Yeah, that's probably 1d6.
plus. Well, not plus one. Just do 1d6 plus my damage bonus.
1d6 plus
That
1d4.
Oh shit!
That thing's
Someone
fucked.
wasn't prepared. It pretty much is. Like I don't really think I'm gonna. I mean, the worst I can do is like, what, 2 damage to it? Oh, no, I need what, 1d4? I think I have a 1d4. There it is. Stupid wizard thing. Okay, 1d6 is a 5, plus 1d4 is a 1, so I hit it for 6.
Yeah, it's dead. And just so everybody knows, if he had done that to Brock, he'd be dead too.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say, Brock, that could have been you right there. Game over, son.
Tomorrow's breakfast.
So yeah, it's kind of freaking out, and it kind of like lets out a final little rabbit shriek as you just club it in the head, and his legs go limp.
Like, what it,
It just kind of swings back
Done.
and forth, just dangling
Limp,
obscenely
limp.
from this thing, from the fishing line.
Excellent. So I cut it down.
Cool. It takes you a good 30 minutes to. You're gonna clean it, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm gonna clean it and
Yeah.
whatnot.
It takes you a good like 30 minutes to do a proper job of it, but then you got a good rabbit hide out of it as well if you want.
Yeah. Dash out of something.
Everybody else is pretty much roused at this point. Larkin has been cooking some eggs in a cast iron pan over the fire, and the driver Javier has been he's been plucking a live chicken. Well, not a live chicken. He did the same thing as you did, except he snapped his neck with his bare hands, and he's been plucking a chicken kind of absentmindedly. Plucking a live chicken. Jesus Christ. It's like
Does the chicken have more HP?
just chicken screaming in the distance as he's plucking it live.
Holy shit, what is that, man? Rude awakening twice.
Tastes better if you pluck it first.
The fear really adds a nice flavor to the meat.
Jesus Christ. Oh, shit. While that's cooking on a spit that he made, he starts packing up everything. Ellis and Eugene actually start giving him a hand. Eugene kind of like was the first to grab food. Like immediately when the eggs were done, he grabbed a plate. He started eating some fruit. And he found like a hunk of bread from one of the trucks. Oh, I found some of this cheese. This stuff's real good. Try some of this, Leslie.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh, you're right. That's delicious. What kind of cheese is that?
Some good Swiss.
Right.
It's all the holes. Sure. He like busts the leg off of the thing and tosses you a drumstick.
Oh, thanks, man.
Brock, you're having trouble keeping your food down. You're feeling kind of nauseous today, and you can't really put a finger on why. You keep thinking back to John finding someone at night, and then you swear you might have had dreams, but you can't remember them.
Oh, God dang it.
But it's bothering you like it's just an itch at the back of your head. Like it feels like you did, but you can't remember them.
Okay.
But before long, by the time you guys are finishing up breakfast, all the stuff's already packed up, ready to go pretty much. Elias
Did
is
I
kind
cook
of...
my rabbit?
Oh yeah, you had your own thing going, like,
Okay.
completely separate from everybody because you're sick of
All right,
Leslie's shit. But Elias is stomping out the fire, and he dumps a wooden bucket full of water over it. So, well, I suspect we'll be off soon. Yes, I'd like to get on with it. Got to get to Camana before we can go into the Highlands. Come on, everyone, let's go.
Okay.
Trucks are starting
the
to fire
same
up.
sitting arrangements. It seemed pretty comfortable before, so let's all just hop in our perspective.
What's wrong, kid?
Eat something
Nothing.
weird? You look uncomfortable.
Nah, I'm just feeling a little bit nauseous.
Once we get on the road, you'll probably feel a lot better.
He's a little green around the gills.
That'll
Maybe you
do
should
it.
sit in the back so you can puke, out the back of the truck instead of all over Mendoza's lap.
Oh, that'd definitely be... Yeah, that's preferable. I don't want to puke on Mr. Mendoza.
I just
I
don't
guess
want
you
to
could
peel
hop in
bits
with
of you
us.
off the seat and send it back to your dad.
We do have room now that the Miss moved into the front car if you would like to come with us, but I don't know. Maybe probably more comfortable.
At this point, Ellis has gotten in the back of that first car. They had to rearrange. Like, Javier had to push some of the crates and stuff around to make room for her, but she's, like, up against the cab. She's got her notebook open. She's asking Larkin some questions as you guys are climbing into the trucks. Eugene is kind of still worried about you, though. He's got he's kind of staring at you. He's like, you sure you're going to be all right, Kenny? You want to sit up there with me, or what?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
All right, if you're sure.
We have room. We have room in our car if you'd like to come with
Tell
us.
you
and
what.
Stay with Eugene.
Anything happens, you just give me the signal. Yeah, just
What's
do
the
this.
signal?
And he starts, like, taking his, like, slitting his throat with his finger.
If I do that, he's gonna really do that to me. That's a terrible signal.
Just give me a thumbs up, then. He won't suspect that.
Okay. Okay. Fine. I'll do thumbs up.
And then he, like, gives you, like, the okay symbol. And, like,
Wait,
jumps
what's
up to the
that?
back of the truck.
What
Means
does
okay.
that symbol mean then?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And John's already fired up the truck and started rumbling away at this point. And you guys are on the road. On the road again. Just can't wait. Come in on the road again.
So, Dylan, I have a question.
Sure.
Did car 3 change?
Car 3 did not change at all. Jackson is with you in the back. The kid's up front. And Mendoza's driving.
But car 2 changed, because Ellis is now with car 1.
Yep,
Right.
Eugene is in the back of car 2 by himself.
Got it. Okay.
So the road dips inland for a bit, and you guys start gaining altitude. And the air gets much crisper, much thinner. And I'm going to need Constitution rolls from everybody except for Leslie, who has to give me a hard Constitution roll.
What?
You're used to being underwater a lot of the time.
No,
34.
That's even
You know what? Look,
I'm more used to altitude.
Can I just say, any Constitution roll is a hard Constitution roll for me.
Oh, that's true. I can't wait.
I got a
Pass, I got
4.
34.
Oh, God.
Did I hear 5 from you, Lucas?
57.
No, I got a 43, Roger.
Okay, Roger and John, you passed.
Benjamin failed.
Leslie, what did
I
you
didn't
get?
have to roll to tell you that.
Well, I would have passed my normal one.
Okay, fine. You can have a normal one. I just thought it'd be funny.
I got 48.
Okay.
So Benjamin's the only one that failed.
So the more you gain in altitude, the more the pressure is just building on your ears. They refuse to pop, and you're nauseous like full force. Like you've gone really pale, and you've got a pretty tight headache brewing right between your eyes.
Okay.
But as the day goes on, you manage not to like cack out the window, and the road
Oh, darn,
swings
I thought you were
back
gonna make
toward
me
the
roll for
coast
that.
and goes back down and starts following it again, until probably just before dusk. You guys arrive in a small village by the name of Kamana, and it is it's on the coast. And you guys kind of pull over. Larkin is already on his feet, kind of looking around. A lot of the locals are kind of stopping and like kind of looking at you if you are kind of like approaching, kind of like looking curious, but like otherwise friendly, like not malicious at all. Like they're just very interested to see people of your ethnicity down here. Yeah. I'm gonna have to see if there's a nice motel. Sick of sitting in this truck all day. He looks for Mendoza, and Louis, see if you can't track down a hotel for us. Mendoza, like, swipes the keys of all the trucks, puts them in his pocket, and heads off into the streets trying to find a place for everybody to stay. Unless anyone has any other plans.
Well, I'm gonna hit the first cabin I see.
I'll go with them.
Okay.
That's my boy.
Elias tags along as well.
So is everybody just going?
Well, Elias kind of runs up behind them and goes, "I think perhaps one of us should follow." Yeah, and he gestures towards Mendoza's fleeing figure. Not really fleeing; he's just walking briskly. But
I'd like to follow him.
yeah, would you like me to come with you?
that Benjamin and Eugene want to go.
Benjamin and
bar,
Eugene
follow.
would like to go to the bar, or would like to follow Mendoza.
Would like to follow Mendoza.
Okay.
Oh, well, no, I'm not doing it.
Well, goddamn
We don't need a group of us doing it.
Why not? You might see
Suspicious.
something he doesn't. He's got
Hey, what's suspicious about a giant man with a
got
man
the
on his
cheese
back
with him.
following somebody?
Just go walk up and say, "Hey, we'd like to keep you some."
Well, he's getting
company."
away, so I'm gonna.
As we look.
And Jackson starts heading away after I'm trying to catch up.
Okay, come on, Eugene.
All right, kid, let's go. You guys hustle up next to Jackson. Are you guys gonna go with, or are you gonna let him go?
Oh, I'm gonna go to the bar.
You let him go. Okay, cool. Roger, what are you doing?
Oh, jeez. I guess I'd like to go to the town and see if I can find anything interesting. Like, I don't know.
It's basically a village. Like, next to Lima, this is like, you know, a stick in the mud. Like, there's not a lot going on. It's basically mostly homes.
Maybe
There's
information.
Like one small general store. You can look around.
Well, they have a store like I can look at to maybe if I can find some metal or anything else that could help to use to make things with.
There is like a kind of general kind of store. It's and by store I mean it's more of an outdoor stall that this man is running. It's kind of he sells like papers and stuff. He's like posted up next to the post office.
Well, I guess I'll follow. I'll go in the direction Mendoza went in.
Okay, you can just spot the backs of the heads of Elias and Eugene. You're kind of, and like, you know, it's pretty easy to spot Brock dangling from Eugene. So you just head after the half man in the baby carrier, basically. Ellis and yeah, Ellis and Javier are kind of tagging along after the two of you. Larkin is waiting with the trucks. He's kind of just like sitting in the seat. He looks more exhausted at the end of the trip today than he did before.
He's dying.
But this watering hole you guys find is it's definitely more hole in the wall than Bar Cordano was, but it's not terrible. We got decent enough drinks.
The bartender's alive at least.
For now.
None of them speak English here.
I can speak Spanish though.
But yes, so you order for everybody basically.
Hey Leslie, what do you want? What do you want, man? I'll order for you.
Oh, I don't know, man. What do they got? It could be anything here. You never know.
They got like whiskey and rum. It looks like. I don't know if you want something to eat. Both?
One of them, yes. So, something.
All right, I'll go to the bar and order 2 whiskeys and 2 rums.
Okay.
2 shots each.
So while you guys are doing that,
What about the lady and the old guy?
Miss, do you want anything?
she shakes her head and kind of takes a seat, slowly kind of watching the two of you next to Roger. And
Roger?
Yeah, Roger came. Oh no, Roger didn't. Sorry, my bad. Completely.
Or Jesse.
86 that one. Yeah, Jesse. That's what I meant.
But Jesse can speak Spanish. He can order for himself. If he wants to.
That's true. Jesse and Javier can both speak Spanish. They're kind of doing their own thing. They're actually talking Spanish at the end of the bar there. By the time you get, sorry, by the time you get caught up to the others, Roger, they've lost track of Mendoza.
Oh god.
Great.
Well, I mean, the towns can't be that big.
No, it's small.
So it's like he wouldn't be. I don't think it'd be hard to find, especially if he's just looking for a hotel. So.
A few minutes later, he comes out of a building relatively nearby you guys. It's like a 2-story, flattish building. And he kind of sees all of you standing there. He gestures with his head back behind the building, but just to the building, and then he heads back toward the trucks.
Okay. Well, it looks like he found a place for all of us to stay.
Yeah, well, I don't have any money. So.
Would you like to wait for the money to arrive?
Yeah, I have. I don't have a choice.
That's true.
Or can I go back with him to help him with stuff?
Sure. He's marching along pretty briskly. He's not really stopping.
Mr. Mendoza, do you need any help? How about I come with you?
Sure.
All right. All right, so we go.
Okay.
Perhaps it'd be best if we just wait here.
I agree with you.
I agree
Maybe we can take a look
100%. And Eugene kind of plops you down on the ground.
All right.
You help Mendoza pretty silently. Like, he doesn't really talk, but he is unpacking, like, Larkin's things. So you start grabbing your stuff, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to grab anybody else's stuff, or just yours?
I don't know, how much can I grab? You know,
However much
I
you
don't know
can
how
carry
far
your,
away it is.
you can carry your duffel and probably at least one other thing. It's only, like, maybe, like, a quarter mile up the street.
I guess I'll carry Jesse Hughes' stuff, since it's probably in the same truck.
Okay. Oh, looks like he found someone to board us. Larkin starts kind of walking along with you, trying to be in stride, but it looks like he's a little slow. He's looking very pale today.
Mr. Larkin, you feeling okay?
It's just a little worse for wear, but nothing that a good night's sleep can't fix.
Well, why don't I walk with you? I know the way to the hotel, quote unquote, that we'll be staying at. I'll keep you some company on the way there.
Oh, that'd be lovely, thank you.
Excellent. So, as I let Mendoza get further ahead, because he's just on a roll right now.
He's like, yeah, he's a machine.
Okay. So how much longer do you think it's going to be till we get to where we're going?
Should be getting there tomorrow afternoon, no later than that. Depends on how early we leave. I'd like to perhaps get an earlier start than we have the last 2 days. Perhaps maybe even 6 o'clock or earlier, before the sun comes up.
Okay, that works for me. And then once we get to where we're going, you said we're gonna what, hike through the mountains?
Yes, once we get to Puno, we'll have a final night there, stock up on food and whatever else we might need before we head into the highlands. Shouldn't be any more than 3 days on foot.
3 days, okay. That's good to know. Alright. Well, this should be fun then.
It is one word for it. Ah, here we are. Very charming.
Excellent.
He's like looking over the building as you guys kind of arrive. It is pretty nice, actually. They have a nice little garden on the side and some nice potted flowers out front. And the owner is a very smiley Peruvian man who like kind of nods at you each as you kind of walk in. Jackson's like, I might go fetch the others down at the bar.
Alright. I just need a room, that's all I need.
There's enough rooms for pretty much everybody. Some people are gonna have to share though. It looks like we're gonna have to double up because it looks more like a residence than a hotel. So it looks like you're pretty much paying to stay in somebody's house.
Great.
Oh boy.
Is there anything
Who's doubling
anyone
up with who?
would like to do, like figure out who's sharing whose rooms, and then is there anything anyone would like to do tonight before heading out in the morning?
No.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and convince Ellis again to stay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
And I feel like I've been drinking at this point.
Oh yeah, you've
Yeah,
had
me and you've been
several.
partying.
You have been. There's no way you haven't.
And I keep trying to give Ellis drinks. Like I've been doing it the whole night. Just at least one. I'm not trying to get her drunk. I just want her to like loosen up.
Enjoy yourself.
Mm-hmm.
She
Or
mostly
not.
turned away or kind of deflected them to other people all night until you kind of drunkenly stumble over with one in your other hand and one in your mouth.
And she kind of like gingerly kind of slides it a little closer. Certainly don't lack for confidence, Mr. Visser.
It's not confidence, it's just a blind willingness to not care. So, what we were talking about earlier.
Yes, the lies on your behalf.
Listen, since I forget which day it was already, I've had quite a few, but since that first time I think you stormed off, I have not lied. I think, mostly. About anything real, don't know. Listen, you are a journalist, right?
She's like nodding.
So, what do you do for a living? Like, why do you do what you do?
I suspect the same reason every journalist starts what they do. Like to give the truth to the people, tell them things they don't know. Spread the word, as it were.
Tell the story, maybe?
I suppose. It's one way to put it.
Every person on this expedition has been handpicked by Larkin and myself to go on this expedition. And they're all handpicked for specific purposes. They each have a story to tell, and each on their own, I feel, would warrant you joining this expedition.
Are you going to find your point somewhere at the bottom of that bottle?
I'm just saying, we may have mutual interests. You will get your stories, and I will get what I need from you, which is just to tell this story.
And what is it about this story, Mr. Visser, that's so dear to you?
I guess we'll find out now, won't we? I held my glass up and like tried to cheers her.
She kind of like takes a sip, and she keeps her eyes on you. Damn me. And she clinks your glass and takes another drink.
I finish my drink, and then before I leave, I tell her, if you want to talk to somebody about their own story, I would start with Roger. He seems to have one hell of a story. And I walk away, and I go order another drink.
All right.
Leslie, let's grab another shot.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah. Good lord, you're alcoholics.
My character needs to relax a little bit, so he's just getting drunk and pleasant.
That works. So,
Don't stressed out.
We start singing shanties.
Yes. After a few of them, Alice joins you in a round of Machine Durkin, which she knows the lyrics to a little too well. And you notice that her voice kind of slides into a slight Irish accent instead of British, as she says in Far America, like really loudly, and her like cheeks are like rosy red at this point.
Where'd you say you were from, Ellis?
Oh, I'm from London. Where are we staying again? She kind of like she starts looking around like.
Right. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Another night of stumbling drunkenly through a village he doesn't know, Leslie finds himself in an alleyway, sleeping under some sort of newspaper tent that he's fashioned.
Oh my god.
Wakes up with a few layers of 5 o'clock shadow.
That's my boy.
The trucks are already pretty much ready to go. Nothing really happened in the night. Everybody had their own rooms, slept it off. And it's time to hit the ground running day 3. You do notice, Leslie, as you're picking up this newspaper and kind of like tossing it aside, you see Ellis walk out of the post office, and she sees you in the alley, and kind of nods at you.
I wave to over the top
Oh Lord.
and act like nothing's wrong.
And she like walks on for the trucks. Any changes we'd like to make to the seating arrangements? At this point, it's entirely up to you guys where you want to sit.
I'll just keep driving the 2-car. I don't really care. I mean,
Well, I like where I'm at.
Okay.
I think
I'm staying in car 3.
I think Benjamin's gonna stay in the riding shotgun.
Looks like all the trucks are pretty much ready to go. The lead one, Javier's already kind of gunned it, and he's like turned to the east and heading up this kind of hilly street. The second car is kind of starting to go on the way, but then right as you're about to hit the gas, somebody knocks on the kind of slats on the back of the flatbed, and you see Jackson Elias is in the rearview mirror. He goes,
Elias?
hold up a sec, looks like we might be shuffling around. And then he goes, miss? And he leads Alice to the last truck where you're sitting, Roger, and he helps her into the back. And then he winks at you, and then he goes to the second truck and climbs in with Eugene.
Jesus.
And you're on the road again.
What'd you do to that woman,
On the
Leslie?
road again.
She's not like you.
Yeah, I never quite know. It's always something. Did I say something else?
Killer headache, man. You can really drink.
And that was a light night. Sure.
Good lord.
Let me get a swig of one of those bottles. I got a little headache. I don't know. Try to-
Well, you should.
And then
hold
drive.
We'll wait.
Just a
till
swig.
later.
I'm not getting drunk.
Bickering and drinking as they're driving, yeah. It's good.
We'll wait till Trust me. You'll thank me.
The road out of the village is already it's pretty steep, and it heads directly inland up into the Andes. Before you're even out of the village, Ellis kind of is looking at you, Roger, and goes, I heard that you might have a rather interesting story for me, Mr. Lynch.
Nope, I'm boring. Just regular old guy.
As many a man would say who has things to hide.
Hide? I don't have things to hide, man. I just, I'm just here. Nothing exciting, nothing worth writing to people about. Maybe I don't want my story told.
That's fine. I don't have to write this story. Consider this just for my own curiosity. She folds her notebook closed and stows it. Off the record. Why are you here?
Off the record? Well, I'm here because I need money to leave this country. That's the long and short of it.
So you're stuck here, in a sense?
Yes. I've been stuck here for 2 years now.
It's quite a long time to be stuck someplace.
Yes, I've been trying to come up with some money, but it's taking a long time to save, longer than I thought it would. I wasn't a finance major in school, so...
You're an educated man.
Yeah. Yeah, before I got here, I was from America. I am from America. I guess I wasn't.
Well, that's clear.
America still exists, so...
Whereabouts?
Well, I was born in Baltimore, Maryland. That's on the east coast of the country. Did some fishing work there for a little bit when I was growing up, and ended up going to school there for a little bit, but that it was boring. I didn't really like I don't like school that much, but there was always one topic that fascinated me, and it was like engineering. I always liked building things, and that was always fun, so I ended up moving across the country to California. There's a university there called Berkeley. You never heard of it, but it's it's a nice school, and I got my bachelor's in engineering there, and I was on my way to a master's, but then I just having some family trouble, so I went home to help out with that. You know, how can you relate?
Well, as you might have guessed, I'm not from here either. One might even say that I'm stuck here too.
Why are you stuck here?
I suppose it's a matter of not wanting to get out enough. Until recently, I suppose. But...
Oh, where exactly are you from?
From the United Kingdom.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, how would I... well, I'm guessing that, by how you feel about all that, I'm assuming that you had family that died in the war. Or at least fought.
I did. My father.
Your father fought?
Yes, and he did not come back. But such is the way of things. Everyone has a story like it, if not quite exactly it.
It seems that we share the same misfortune. So, one day I'll go there myself and see if I can find what I'm looking for.
Well, I hope that you can find peace in that at least.
Oh. I thought I did. I had a letter that he died. I had a brother who was drafted. I was too old to be drafted at the time, but he was drafted, and I came back home to help support the family while he was away. And then we got well, my parents got a letter in the post saying that he was killed in action. My parents took that kind of hard, but, you know, as they would.
Yes.
I didn't find out about it until maybe a month later. They were kind of hiding it from me, and, you know, once I kind of read the letter, and I was a little distraught, and then I was kind of upset at them for hiding it from me.
Yes, I imagine you would be.
It's my business, too.
Can't imagine if my mother and my sisters had hid that from me.
Yeah,
Terrible.
So I left. I went back across the country, and I was going to live there. You know, I just didn't want to be reminded of him. I feel like, you know, it's partially my fault. I couldn't help him. I couldn't be there with him. So I left, and I found work as a longshoreman out in California, and then someone had asked they needed a crew. They needed another crew member for something small, and I felt, why not? You know, this country kind of reminds me of them, so I left. You know,
felt the same way.
Yeah, but now I'm kind of stuck here. Well, maybe you stick around, maybe I'll tell you more later.
When I spoke to Mr. Visser,
Yeah, everyone spoke to Mr. Visser.
He speaks to everyone, it seems.
Yeah.
But he made it clear that everyone here was selected by Mr. Larkin in some capacity, and that we're all in danger. So now you tell me this story, and it has me thinking that you know that this is true, but you need to get out. Yeah. Just badly enough to stay.
Yeah. Well, I'd gotten a piece of mail recently. Normally I wouldn't care, but I'd gotten a piece of mail recently that said that the government made a mistake, and that my brother wasn't dead, but he was just missing. So now, you know, if he's just missing, then maybe there's a chance he's still alive out there. You know, they never found his body. There's a chance he's out there. So I feel like the least I can do is look for him. I feel like he'd do the same for me. And then I take the letter out of my pocket as I'm talking, and I hand it to her and say, "Here, read for yourself. You tell me what it says."
She starts unfolding it, and visibly, as she's reading it, you can tell she's getting very emotional. I need a listen roll from Benjamin to see if he heard any of that.
Okie dokie. 15.
So yeah, you did.
Damn.
You eavesdropped because you had nothing better to do than like
Sneaky
try not
bitch.
to shit your pants while you're sitting next to Mendoza. Which, did he hear that? Okay.
Did he hear that?
No comment.
God damn it.
The roads that you guys are taking are getting much more steep. They're becoming switchback roads, very winding as you climb higher and higher into the mountains. The air is continuing to grow thin. I need another Constitution roll from Benjamin to see if he's acclimated yet.
You know that I'm gonna fail this. You don't even have to ask me, dude.
I can't wait.
Oh my god. I didn't fail it. It's a 29. What?
So, as you guys are kind of cresting one of these ridges and the cars kind of start coming down, your ears finally pop and everything is finally clear. It feels like, it's almost like your nasal cavities are clear too. You're just like kind of shaking the relief off. The nausea kind of starts to dissipate over the course of the next few minutes.
Well, that's good.
The roads continue through the mountains for some time. But eventually it starts leveling out as you kind of actually get past the Andes a little bit and actually into the highlands where there's more, high grasslands and farms. It's mostly like corn and what looks like potatoes and perhaps some other vegetation that grows only in these higher altitudes. There's several alpacas and like llama farms as well that you're passing. Everyone that you pass on the street is very, very interested. They kind of immediately watch you arrive and then kind of pass by. And then up and over this other ridge, and Lake Titicaca comes into view. It's this huge lake. It stretches to the horizon with mountains looming in the haze. I would like a spot hidden roll from everybody.
Everybody different spot.
Everybody spot hidden.
Oh wait,
now.
I almost
Ooh, I
forgot
got
to mark
8.
that spot.
36.
Awesome.
44.
I got a 32.
Okay, so that's a pass from Leslie and John, and is that a pass for you as
Roger.
well, Roger? Okay.
Yeah, I had 50.
So, the city of Puno is up ahead, right on the shores of the lake. And what you guys notice that everybody else didn't is there's these little islands off the coast of the city. They're very small islands, and they have several little small huts on them. If anybody would like to make a history roll that passed that initial roll, they can.
I'll make one.
Dang it, that's something I'm good at.
Bwah, bwah.
45.
Oh, there's no way.
84. I failed.
There's
What's my
no
history?
way. My history is 5, dude.
I know, it'd be
there's
amazing.
Wow.
It's probably 5 for me too.
It is.
Oh, I already rolled 8 on one die, so it's already not passing. The other one fell down.
Push it.
Didn't get 5.
Would you like
I
to
got
push it,
88.
John?
Yeah, I'll push it. I mean, I feel like I'm very interested in just places.
Someone should. Oh wait, no, never mind.
What about? Can I try anthropology? Will that help?
Yeah, actually, why not? Give me an anthropology roll.
I failed again. I got 61.
Okay, no worries.
25. That's faster than me.
So, from what you understand of this, there's some people that make a living fishing on these small islands, and they've always been referred to as the floating islands, and you're not sure why. But as you get closer, more of the city comes into view, and it stretches back from the shore of the lake. Okay. Thanks. No worries. So the city stretches back from the lake and up into the hills that overlook the area. And this lake is so massive, it's basically an inland sea. Like, this thing is like 100 miles long. Like, it's basically, it's like insane. It's a gigantic lake. As you're getting closer, most of the buildings are low. Like, they're 1 or 2 story structures that are mostly made of stone or brick. And as you get deeper into the city, the streets that they line become increasingly more narrow and more maze-like as they start to kind of climb up into the hills in the center of the city. You guys pass a broad plaza that's ringed with like neat greenery and shrubs and trees, and the whole of it is overlooked by this imposing edifice of the Cathedral Basilica of St. Charles Borromeo.
Right.
And so the trucks pull aside, and some of the locals are kind of like gathering around and like looking in, smiling. And one comes up to you, Leslie, because you look relatively friendly, and they try to shake your hand, and they're like looking at the turtle on your shirt. Like they take the shirt between their fingers, and they're like admiring the quality of it and stuff.
I'm just loving it.
There's a man leading an alpaca with like just this little lead, and he's wearing like a red poncho. And he's kind of coming by, and he spots he sees it looks like he sees somebody in the back truck, like he sees either Roger or Brock or Mendoza, and then he kind of gives it a wide berth, and he keeps doing double takes as he starts leading the alpaca further up the street.
Who sees this?
Everyone in the back truck, like Roger, Brock, you see it. I think Eugene sees it. If you give me a spot hidden, Leslie, you will be able to see it as well.
Spot hidden. 47.
Yeah, so you noticed it too.
Sweet.
But he's getting closer to you. He hasn't quite passed yet, but he did pass that last one.
All right.
What would everyone like to do? Larkin's kind of stretching.
So Mendoza's still in the car, right?
He's kind of he's closed it, and he starts he's heading up to the lead truck to talk with Larkin.
Okay.
I want to try and get closer so I can listen to what they're saying, but not be obvious about it.
Okay. How do you want to not be obvious about it? Do you want to elaborate a little on that? I want to see if a roll is
Just like,
necessary.
Because I'm just trying to figure out like spacing. I would just casually, back towards the truck and lean against it, still keeping distance and slightly out of sight. But if they're like around the corner or towards the front, then I would just be, to the side.
Okay. So as you kind of back up into the truck, kind of like duck down a little bit, try to make yourself smaller. There's several locals that are still kind of like gathering around you. But you're looking, mountain air finally here. Perhaps we should get some dinner around here before setting things in motion. Do you agree? And then you don't hear anything from Mendoza. He's like, good. Run ahead and fetch us a table. I'll be right behind you. And then a few moments later, Larkin notices the large kind of gathering of locals around you. It's grown to like 4 or 5 people that are all kind of clamoring for your attention as you're like listening to him.
And I just keep interacting with them.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, I hope I could. Hope I can find a bed just as good as that last one. Mendoza returns before long, and everyone is kind of gathering around. Larkin kind of raises his arms, and he's like, everyone come here, if you would, please. I'm thinking we're going to have dinner together on this time before we head out in the morning.
my treat, of course. Everyone would follow me, of course. You're welcome to take your own plans, eat whatever you like, explore, do whatever you wish. But I'd like to leave early tomorrow morning, perhaps 6 o'clock, if possible.
Okay, where will we be going?
Yes, we'll have, of course, to gather some provisions, some pack animals, things of that nature, but I have a few contacts here. We might be able to get a good deal on some donkeys. Of course, we already have a few jackasses with us already. He says this under his breath.
Did I hear that? Hang on.
Listen rolls. If anyone wants to try to overhear it, give me a listen.
I want to try and listen.
I'm alright.
I rolled
Alright.
18.
Oh boy.
You definitely heard it.
97.
I rolled an 8.
I was looking at like a butterfly in the sky.
Pardon, Mr. Larkin?
Oh, you know, these sorts. He stares directly at Leslie and then winks at you.
He's not so bad.
He's not so good either.
Benjamin's chuckling to himself.
Mendoza then leads the way through these city streets. The procession of locals behind you it thins a little bit as you get closer to the restaurant, Leslie. But is there anybody who's not going?
It's free food. Who's not going to go?
Okay.
I'm going.
Cool.
I think everybody's gone.
Is there anything anyone would like to discuss during this late lunch, early dinner?
Yeah, I just want to kind of ask Larkin about how long it's going to take. And stuff.
What he's hoping to find.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
So,
go
Mr.
for it,
Larkin,
yeah.
how long do you think this expedition's going to take? Anything we should, keep in mind, or what exactly are we looking for?
Well, not necessarily going to be looking. I have a very good idea of where this is. But it's going to take minimum 3-4 days to get to the pyramid. You can count a few days there, and then a few days back, obviously. So it's going to be a week or more, depending on what we find. The contents of the pyramid, of course, and if there's anything to take back or document.
What are you hoping to find?
Well, like I said, more artifacts related to the two that I showed you a few days ago. Rest assured, there can be many great riches there.
Like what kind of riches? Like big riches?
Well, I would assume gold.
Gold, at the very least, of course.
Well, how much?
But I can't give you a bulleted list, because I'm not there yet.
How exactly
Part
do you
of the
know
risk.
about this stuff?
Like I said, I got the artifacts from a farmer who was selling them around this area, as a matter of fact.
Why hasn't anyone gone here before to get it? It's just so simple as
It's
walking over and collecting.
honestly, it's mostly local superstitions regarding the area. It's things of that
the farmer
nature.
still here?
If you're going to spend all the money for us to go, so it seems like you have a pretty good hunch that this is real.
It's more than a hunch. I haven't been there myself, but guaranteed there's a pyramid. As for its contents, I can't make any promises. He could have been swindling me, but the man looked honest. And to answer your question, I believe he's still in the area somewhere.
But there hasn't been
Will he
any
be
other-
accompanying us?
No, I don't believe so. What was that, Mr. Visser?
I said that there hasn't been any other expeditions.
No, not yet.
How come nobody else has tried to find it?
Well, I'm sure that many people might have, but it's all our good luck to be the first professional one to find the site. That was the matter of urgency that I threw this expedition together, brought all of you here with me.
We do it together, yes.
Ellis kind of narrows her eyes at that and kind of scribbles in her notebook.
So what's on the menu?
Fade to black. Was there anything else you guys wanted to discuss for dinner?
No,
Over
that
dinner?
seems good.
Yeah.
I actually
Or
like that
limit.
fade to black.
Yeah, I'm good.
Meta.
Good.
Yeah.
So,
Remember, I had your back, Leslie. I defended you.
I'll never forget.
New drinking buddy.
Everybody needs everybody.
So is that pretty much it?
no, we're gonna keep going a little bit.
Okay.
Yes.
So as dinner's kind of winding down, Larkin is, he gets pretty tired pretty early, and he reiterates meeting again. He wants to leave by 6 unless something stalls.
Okay.
And he heads out early with Mendoza, and he starts unpacking everything and bringing it into the at least the foyer of this small hotel where you guys are staying.
Mm-hmm.
And Javier starts rounding up the trucks, and you see him shelling out to some of the locals to help him drive them back to Puno, or not Puno, to Lima. Is there anything anyone would like to do while you're in Puno? Jackson's been pretty quiet.
Yes.
He helped unload the trucks, but he's been.
I think Benjamin wants to go talk to Jackson.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Brock.
Hello, Jesse. He winks.
I can dispense with those pleasantries. I don't think they can hear us. After he gives a
okay.
cursory
Thank
look
God.
around.
Well, we're just about to start. What are your thoughts?
Well, I trust Mendoza about as far as I can throw him. And Larkin, if I'm honest, even less at this point. I do not think he's being honest.
Me either. Me neither. And Mendoza, man, he's a very silent character. I'll give him that.
I have an inkling, but I'm worried the others might not go in for it. Do you mind if I use you as a sounding board?
Sure.
Well, I have a few friends here. A woman in particular, Nera. Her name is. She's a Yatiri. It's a kind of a, sort of a healer, or wise woman, I guess you could say. She's the one that told me that Mendoza's not to be trusted, and it's not who he says he is. She's the one that told me that he's a Karasiri. And, well, I'd
Really?
like to visit her before we go. Because she seemed to know more than she was letting on, and, well, honestly, the way that she spoke of this character, I'm just concerned for her safety.
I would like to tag along with you if you don't mind. Perhaps bring a few things.
Of course, if you'd like to. Still thinking of how I'm going to broach it to the others. If there's a way that we can get to this pyramid without Mendoza and Larkin breathing down our necks, I think that would benefit us greatly.
I agree with you, but I'm not really sure we'll be able to do that.
Well, you never know. Maybe Neighbor knows something as to the location of this thing.
Well, then we better find out.
Excuse me, I'm going to check in with some friends, see if I can't track her down. I'll come back in an hour or so, if that works for you.
Sure thing. And maybe I can let the others know of what you have in mind.
Sure, that works for me.
Okay.
I'll be right back. And he kind of looks around Puno a little bit. He pulls the brim of his hat forward onto his forehead and starts marching up the hill toward this just giant cluster of residences.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
So
on you now.
Benjamin's gonna go back to the others. Hello everyone.
Brock?
I have something I'd like to just kind of run by you all.
Do you need help?
All right.
Oh no, I don't need help with anything. So I just spoke with Mr. Elias, and he has some contacts that he would like to speak with. A woman had informed him about Mr. Mendoza, and I think we should all go with him and meet this woman.
You think
All of us?
So we're all in agreement?
Are we going right
Well,
now?
Well, we're going to be going in an hour just to meet Mr. Elias.
Right.
Not to
So I
be a
can be back
stick
in
in the
an
mud, but isn't that going to be a little, weird? What if they see us walking around, not hanging out at the hotel? Trying not to be
Well-
suspicious, right?
I mean, they already saw us all show up in these trucks. I don't see why us walking together would be suspicious.
I feel like only one of us should go. With Mr. Jesse.
well, Larkin did mention that the guy who sold him those artifacts might be in town. We should probably talk to that guy too.
Or the farmer.
Yeah.
Why don't we split up? Half of us go.
Two groups?
Farmer. Yeah, 2 groups. I can go with Brock.
To the bar. Oh,
I'm still thinking.
Dibs on Roger.
I still can't believe this whole time, though, and no one's mentioned it yet. We did leave Camilla back at the hotel. Like, no one went to look for her. She's just.
Well, I looked for her briefly. Looked around. And she wasn't there.
Yeah, but
We didn't have much time. We were kind of running late.
To be fair, we did almost leave Brock as well.
Larkin did
jerks.
have a pretty strict timetable. Honestly, I didn't think he'd stick to it.
Yeah, but why? How did she not make it on time? I'm just kind of concerned, And I had
She's
her
a smart
weapon.
woman,
She never
she'll
catch.
figure
No, she hadn't
He's probably
caught up
badass.
yet. It's been 3 days. She knew where we were going.
Uber.
You have to. You traveled over 800 miles to get here. Like it's a long
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she, I don't know,
Well,
maybe she
also
decided
doesn't
not
have
to
a
go.
rifle because I have it, so she can't even protect herself.
She's got her little rat thing.
She's got Bernard. That's right.
Barry.
Oh, very nice.
So you guys are
Right,
All
so
right.
grouping up.
before
We gotta
leave,
split
I
up.
gotta do something really quick, really briefly. I'll be right back.
All right. I wonder if it involves booze.
I just gotta
Wait a
go to
minute.
the
I'm
post
not
office.
gonna
If it
wonder.
does involve booze, grab me some, Leslie.
Well, now we're gonna make you stop the booze. 'Cause I want some
You
more
both
food.
have a
Really-
you
What
both
are
have
we
a
gonna
real
do?
problem.
Yeah,
All right.
This is a
not
very stressful
necessary.
ship, alright? I need something to relax.
While Leslie's off doing that, I need an idea roll from John, Benjamin, and Roger.
That's intelligence, right?
Correct.
21.
79.
17.
Pass.
Oh, man.
So
I think we all passed.
all of you remember that when you first met Larkin in Bar Cordano, he claimed the farmer's name was Moyo, Ernesto Moyo.
Okay.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Leslie and Ellis are walking together in the direction of the nearest post office.
So, we're just gonna make a quick stop, right? You gotta send your letters.
Of course.
I've got to send a letter myself.
Well, I couldn't help overhearing Benjamin's concern. Mira's Mr. You guys were calling him Jackson, but he introduced himself to me as Hughes. What's that about?
His middle name is Jackson. Jesse Jackson Hughes, right?
My God.
He's a wild guy, right?
You look pretty straight and narrow to me.
Oh, that's because he is. I don't quite know. I don't pay attention to him too much. He did give me $10, so I do quite like him, but I also don't trust him because what kind of man gives another man $19? It's a stranger, okay?
That's a good point. The post
still have
office is not open, but they have a drop box.
Right, so I guess we better leave it in here. Do you have something I can write with? Just gotta...
She hands you over a little pencil that she's been using.
And I write this letter, and I just horribly like fold it up, and like I'm not sure how to insert it. Do you have like a letter, like an envelope?
She's kind of sighing and already digging for one.
It's lower than you think it is.
Try to like. Dear Arno, how's Boris? Just kidding. I know where he is. He's fine.
Don't go looking for us. Or if you do, we're in a town called Puno. Signed, Love Leslie. You'll be a spring.
In parentheses, a man,
A man, please.
not a woman. All right, so you guys drop off your respective notes and letters at the post office. You do go back to group up with the others.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I want to stop and see if I can find a drink on the way.
Okay. You have so many drinks with you.
Yeah, but
You
I
have
want,
He has an
many.
alcohol problem, dude.
I want like a smaller, like those are giant jugs, so it's not.
It's true.
we want
Just
like
take
a-
one jug.
Something more portable.
We're
Yes.
classier than that.
Okay. So, you guys kind of group back up and you're waiting around for Jackson, and he eventually finds his way to you. Well, I think I tracked her down. So, I assume that Brock here told you my plan?
Yeah.
Yes, and we are going to be splitting into two groups. Some of us are going to go with you, the others are going to go find that farmer.
That sounds like it's planned to me. Who's coming with me?
Now, that would be me and Eugene and John.
Right, very good. We have to get going, though.
Fuck.
What's that? What's wrong?
Nothing.
You can tell me. What's
All
up?
right, Leslie, let's go.
Roger. Yes, are you coming with us?
Yes, I think I'd like to be. We have whatever you find.
Now it's a party. Look, Roger, I got some alcohol for us to drink on the way.
That's great. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
You're not gonna have any.
We need to focus. Okay, we're somewhere we have never been before. There's enemies possibly all around us. We're about to walk
Oh.
off.
Or friends. You never know, man. Can't live such
Well-
a dark life.
Well, I'd like to, I expect the best, but I plan for the worst. Okay?
That's why I bring whiskey.
Yes, sure. That's why you brought it. I don't know why you brought it. You have a drinking problem, Leslie. That's why you brought it.
No problem for me. Seems like a problem for you.
That could go on forever. I'm just gonna draw short a little
That's
bit.
fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Jackson is leading you guys down the hill closer to the lake. Now my friend told me that Nair is actually in hiding on one of the floating islands. So if we can find
Why
a
do they call
boat.
it the floating islands?
Oh, it's actually quite fascinating. They're these made of, I think it's like straw and mud. They float. They're actually just man-made, and people live on them.
Oh.
Very fascinating.
As you guys get closer, you find like a dock that has like a lot of like they're kind of like paddle boats, like rowboats, but like you can all fit in one of them, but it's kind of like full to the brim. You might need to take two. But if you do that, then Eugene's probably going to be paddling all in his lots.
Let's just try to fit all into one.
I'm sure we can do it.
So Jackson pays this dock worker, basically slips him some coins,
and you guys start paddling out for these islands in the distance. And the sun is like almost welling down at this point. There's kind of like this purple sky kind of going on off to the west. And then back in the city, Leslie and Roger and Ellis, you guys are walking around. What method are you using trying to track this guy down?
I'm talking to people in Spanish, of course.
Okay.
Attempting to find this Ernesto Moyo.
You are completely fluent, so I'm going to go ahead and say you don't even need to make rolls for this. You pretty much understand everything everyone's saying.
And I am walking around trying to talk people in not Spanish.
Ellis kind of sticks with you for the most part, Leslie, for a while until she notices how terrible you are at speaking Spanish, and then kind of starts following Roger around and like writing down everything that's said.
I feel like I'm stealing this adventure from Leslie.
So far, like over the last hour that you've been just trying to stop people on the street and asking, not a single one of them has heard of this man, Moyo. One of them did say, "Oh yes, I know him. He lives up the hill over there. But he's not a farmer.
What is he?
Yeah, he raises alpacas."
Raises alpacas?
See?
It's an alpaca farmer.
Close enough to a farmer, I guess.
I don't think you understand. And then he makes like a butchering motion with his hand.
Oh.
Who kills alpacas?
See?
Okay. So he farms their organs. Got it.
Oh my god.
So he's still a farmer. Okay, so where up the hill does he live?
He gives you specific directions up the hill to this this place. It's basically a butcher shop.
All right.
You want to head in that direction?
Yeah, Leslie, I think I got a lead, as it were.
Oh, right. Where's the lead?
Well, this gentleman here, this kindly fellow, said that Ernesto Moyo is up that hill, and yeah, he's not a farmer though. He raises alpacas and then butchers them.
So he's the butcher.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I just talked to a guy who told me that too. He's great. Let's go there. I'll follow you.
All right. Ellis, you coming?
She's kind of distracted. I'm mirroring myself right now because I'm kind of distracted. Can I get a psychology roll actually from specific? Yeah, that might not work for you, Roger. Something along those lines, like a psychology or a.
Can I do a psychology roll?
No, this is gonna be regarding that conversation he had with the guy that gave him directions.
Oh, okay.
There's no way I'm gonna pass this, but we'll give it a whirl. 81.
Okay, cool. Ella's kind of she's like staring off toward like down this alley, and then she kind of like snaps back to attention and goes shouting, "Yeah, of course." She starts following you.
Okay. Ellis, just so you're aware, what's happening is we're gonna go see this guy who may or may not have sold Mr. Larkin the artifacts that he so covets. Okay? I was told by a gentleman in town back there that he's somewhere up this hill and he owns an alpaca butchery. And we're going to go talk to him.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Back on the lake. You guys are kind of closing in on these floating islands.
Okay.
And as Jackson described, they definitely like look man-made. Like it's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen. Basically, it looks like a bunch of like reeds and straw, but it's like floating right there in the middle of the lake. And there's a bunch of like these straw huts that look just the same. And a bunch of the locals that live on this island, they start coming out and kind of looking ponderously over at you, like kind of almost concerned, like mistrusting. And Jackson stands up as you're kind of paddling closer, and he yells out in Spanish. I'm looking for a neighbor. Is she here? She's an older woman, about, he like gestures her height. And before long, this little woman shuffles out of one of these little straw huts. And she's got a very kind face is the first thing that you notice. Like, she's smiling, like, immediately. Mm-hmm. She's kind of stooped, very wrinkled. She's got very thick white hair and, like, bright, lively eyes. They're really sparkling. She seems to notice Jackson immediately, and this broad smile fills her cheeks. While you're kind of paddling closer, Brock, I need a spot hidden from you. John is from you as well.
Okay. I rolled a 5.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually doing it.
The darker it's getting, you notice that there's also like a mist starting to rise off of the water.
Okay.
And further back toward shore, toward Puno, is the vague shape of another boat behind you. But it doesn't get closer. And it's just kind of lingering there on the water.
Jackson, did you have someone else come following us, or did you know if anyone was coming behind us?
He turns and looks and notices the kind of vague blur of the shadow in the mist. And then, no, I didn't.
That can't be a coincidence, can it? How often do boats come out here? Probably not very often.
Back on the mainland. You guys are walking up to this butcher's shop, and the doors are like wide open. It's like propped open with a clay pot, and you hear this thwap, thwap. This cleaver's coming down, cutting, sliding off meat into piles. There's a big man behind the counter. He's got a bald spot, like right, kind of like just behind a little tuft of black hair in the front of his head. And he sees you all kind of walk in. Yes, come in.
Man,
Just closing up.
you speak English?
See?
Is that a yes?
Yes, what do you want?
What a defer to you, Roger.
Alright, Leslie, just hang out there for a sec, buddy. Alright, then I'm speaking in Spanish. Sir, I'm looking for an Ernesto Moyo. Do you know this man?
Swing. He scoops this meat up off the side. That's me.
Excellent. May I ask you a few questions?
He takes a cleaver, and he slams it down into the cutting board and leaves it there. It kind of like wiggles a little bit. And he picks up this wet rag and starts wiping the blood from his fingers. What do you want?
Yes,
Well, hold on.
yes,
Do you get
Leslie.
bacon from alpacas? Do you get bacon?
He like glares
Sir, he
at
wants to know if you can
Leslie.
get bacon.
I'm just gonna know. I'm just not only curious, but also hungry, so I feel like 2 birds, 1 stone.
I'm close in 5 minutes. Do you intend to waste my time?
No, sir, we do not. I had just one question for you. Well, maybe a few, depends. Did you ever sell any artifacts, more specifically a gold pendant and gold cup, to a man named Larkin?
He kind of like listens without looking. He's like more paying attention to wiping the blood off of his fingers. But when you mention like gold and like artifacts, and he just kind of purses up his lips and shakes his head. He's like, no, I deal in cuts. And he starts taking the meat that he had and plopping it into like wax paper and like rolling it up.
Are you sure, sir? I mean, I don't know. You kind of look like you recognize what I was saying. You ever seen items like that before around here?
No. Do you see any gold?
No.
It's honestly like the shop is pretty rinky-dink. It doesn't look like that great of a place.
Yeah, Roger, did Larkin say how much he bought it for?
Can I do an idea roll and see if he saw? Did he never say anything like that?
Can you repeat that?
Well, Corey had asked
I
me.
asked him how much Larkin had paid for it.
I don't know if Larkin mentioned that, actually. I don't think he did.
I think he did.
Yeah, I don't think anybody asked him, and I don't think he said anything.
Okay. Okay, so Roger turns back to Leslie and Ellis and says, all right, well, this guy's claiming he doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Can I
we
interest
heard
you
it
in some
was-
guts? And then Alice has kind of been distracted. She's not really paying attention. She's like looking out the window more than anything.
What you see?
Oh, nothing. Excuse me. And she shuffles out the door and stands just in front of the butcher shop and starts kind of breathing a little heavier.
I'm gonna follow her.
Okay.
I'm gonna start bartering with this guy.
There you go.
Okay.
Wait, sir, how many of these cuts do I have to buy to get this information out of you? Because I know you're holding something back. I have that feeling. Let's we come to an agreement.
You want the information, yes?
Yes.
All right. Perhaps we can come to an understanding.
That sounds great.
But the loud one, I do not want him here.
Okay. That's very reasonable.
He opens the kind of partition that separates his counter from the other part of the store, and he goes and closes the door. He goes, now, what would you like to talk about?
Well, you apparently had sold, I think sold, 2 artifacts to a man named Larkin.
Mind if I work while you talk?
That's absolutely fine.
He heads back behind the counter and fetches the cleaver with a thunk. Turns his back to you to the rear counter where the sink is, starts cleaning it. You say his name's Larkin?
Yes.
See him kind of like shift his shoulders a little bit. Not sure if he's like tensing or like rolling them.
Do you know this man?
See.
Okay. He's kind of an older fellow. He's got like weird dark veins. He's probably got some sort of ailment that he's not telling anyone about, but that's fine. To each their own.
He slides what looks like a rack of lamb over and starts chopping. Whack.
So it was a cup and a pendant. Do you know? Did you give them these things?
No.
Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Now, where did you get them from?
He turns back to you, and his eyes kind of go a little vacant. They're staring at you with an intent different than what you've kind of known so far. And he kind of rolls his jaw a little bit, rubs his cheek. And he kind of drags the cleaver off the counter and starts walking towards you.
Sir?
He,
What are you doing?
You talk too much. And as he says this, his mouth distends to the point where you hear a snap, like his jaw is broken. And rows of tiny razor-sharp white teeth break out behind the lips into a disc about the size of a cantaloupe. And he goes and just moves straight for you. And back on the lake, Nera is back on the lake. Jackson is looking into the mist. And he kind of has this confused look on his face. And when you guys look upon Nayra, her wide smile kind of starts to droop into this just look of fear. And she raises one bony shaking finger and goes, "Can't see it. Can't see it." And that's where we're going to stop for today.
No! Oh my god!
You asshole.
Oh,
Oh my god. Oh.
Good thing I got my
Why
walking
would-
stick with me.
Yeah, I
Why
know.
would you do this?
Worst cliffhanger yet.
God.
yeah. Or the best one.
Or the best one, yeah.
It is the best one, but god damn it.
Thank you to whoever is listening. We'll be back sooner or later.